Salvete omnes, salvete amici. Nomen mihi est Decimus Aurelius Ingeniarius. Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's stream on the Roman Twitch channel, brought to you by Nova Roma. I am Decimus Aurelius, streaming live from Provincia, Australia, or as it sounds, as the name sounds. Yes, from Australia, the East Coast specifically. Currently 7:30 p.m. here, or it's 11:30 a.m. Roman time. We are here now with episode 4 of the Republic of Rome board game broadcast, an annual event held on this very channel where we play Valley Games 2009 edition of the Republic of Rome. Quite a complex and lengthy game that really captures the heart of the ancient Roman Republican Senate. We have 6 players in the background, for those that haven't watched this stream before, who are controlling a faction of senators in currently what is the early Republic, and they are absolutely plagued by numerous wars and often all sorts of issues such as manpower shortages and, of course, the unrest level of the populace. We saw last session that we played on Thursday just gone, they unfortunately encountered yet another disaster in a war card they were attempting to prosecute, another unlucky die roll. So they are now licking their wounds and thinking about their best approach to recover and finally get some wins on the board. They're in a precarious position in that they really need to win a war to stay in the game. However, they're quite lucky because they drew an event card last round called New Alliance, and they essentially get to wipe one of their wars from the field at the end of this coming Senate phase, and they can sort of ignore it for a few turns and it'll eventually pop up again during a forum phase at some point in the future. So that also gives them a bit of a reprieve as well, assuming they don't draw a number of other war cards. But remember, the golden rule is at the end of any combat phase, they cannot have 4 or more active wars, otherwise they will all lose. So wish them luck that they can defeat all the wars that they need to keep going and bring this fledgling republic into a growing society. So let's not waste any more time. We're going to now transition across to the virtual tabletop environment. Just give me a moment so I can also transition my camera, and we'll be back very shortly. Don't go. Alrighty, we are now live. I'm doing some sound checks. Give me a wave and a salvete, all my senators there. Say hello.
Salvete.
Yeah, perfect. It looks like we've got audio and visuals. Looking lovely, looking very excited, looking to have some wins on the board. Now, one of the things I've offered to my senators off stage there was that if they are not happy with the roll 20 dice feature, they can elect to have me roll the dice manually for them off screen. Maybe they will feel luckier, or perhaps have somebody else to blame should the die roll not go their way. So that is certainly an option for them. So we last left our intrepid heroes just at the conclusion of the election of the consular candidates for this coming Senate season. And now I'm going to hand over to those newly elected consular candidates to run the usual proceedings. They'll likely announce who is going to be who in the zoo, and then we'll let them continue on with the Senate session as normal. So whoever my consular candidates are, over to you guys.
All right, so I am currently... Yeah.
Thank you, Decimus.
So
the candidates for consul are Senator Furious, and Senator Aemilius. Is that how I pronounce him? Aemilius? Sounds right. So I'll hand over to Quintus to announce who is to be proconsul.
Thank you very much. I am currently Quintus Octavius, and I'm currently saying that as field consul, Aemilius is going to be introducing our lovely Furious from Fortune is Despair as our proconsul for this current year.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you.
So the consuls have decided amongst themselves who's going to be who. Not much fuss there. So the consuls can, of course, go grab their particular plaques and purple tokens from our sandpit in the middle, and then, of course, award yourselves with the appropriate amount of influence, bumping up your senators there. So Furious will actually get some influence back again. He'll go to 5. And Aemilius up there will look like he'll go to 6 now, having already started with 1 influence. So that's good. All right, and we'll just give them a few moments to update them, settle into their new office, put on their new toga praetextra as nobilis, curule magistrates. Well done to them. adding to the lineage. That
Should we update the faction influence now? Or does that
I'm
occur
very
later?
happy for you to update the faction influence now. Absolutely. If you can certainly stay on top of your faction and influence and votes, that's all for the better. So that's very good. While you guys are finishing that off, I'm going to have a sip of tea. Delightful. Tastes like Rome. Although the Romans didn't really have tea, did they? Maybe Posca. Yes. What I'll do is I'll move the Rome console token down for Furious. Speed that up for you. There we go. That's on his card now. Let's have a look. Let's check out Aemilius here. Good. He's got his token and his influence updated. Fantastic. Furious is all good to go as well. All right, consoles, over to you. I guess specifically the Rome console is the current presiding magistrate, and I can pull that down as well for him. But yes, you guys know how the show works. Back to you.
Thank you, Decimus, and thanks to my fellow senators, with particular thanks to the House of Incognita and Senator Aemilius and Quintus Octavius for placing your trust in the both of us. It is obviously a critical time, a critical juncture that we come where we absolutely must find some success, lest Rome falls and the world fall into darkness with it. So I note that we need to, this is the time that we might otherwise talk about the Pontifex Maximus and Numerius Aurelius and his faction doing a okay job, but we're going to trust in them to continue to do some work. Though I do have one request for the Pontifex Maximus, and that is that we do not invoke Mars in this particular period of time approaching. Mars, the god of war, of course. The problem with invoking Mars is he loves to war too much. He never wants to see it end, which is why he brings destruction upon us, so that we must invoke the military-industrial complex of Rome, which Mars is a lover, to extend the war everlasting. I suggest that the Pontifex Maximus look instead to Jupiter, and if he could take some time to find an invocation for Jupiter, who is the god of Mars and the god of the state, because the state and Mars, the god of Rome and the god of the state, because the Roman state needs all of Jupiter's support in order to survive what comes towards us. I'll just give the field console an opportunity to speak if he should like to.
I'm currently good at the moment. Well, you've said everything on my mind.
Excellent. Man of few words, but a man of action. In that case, I guess we can move on to stage 3, because we would actually like to appoint a dictator.
Okay. Go ahead.
So we propose, and noting that this is with no prior notice, but to Marcus, we propose that T. Quintus Flaminius, with a military rating of 5, be appointed dictator, and we trust in your deep knowledge of the arcane arts of war to see us through what approaches.
Oh, why, thank you. And yes, this is kind of off the cuff, but I greatly accept this honor, and I shall do my best for Rome and continue to press forward, and with the great guidance of Jupiter, hopefully remove war from our great state.
All right. If there's no objections from the other console there, it appears that they've made that decision. Then yes, let us award Titus Quintus Flaminius with both the presiding magistrate and the dictator plaques, as well as his purple tokens. Please go ahead and update your statesman with 7 influence there now. That's fantastic, and I'll bring that up on screen for all the viewers at home and watching in chat. There he is there. Statesman 18A, a special senator, and he has the ability to nullify disasters and standoff numbers on the Macedonian wars, but not any leaders. Now, we haven't seen a Macedonian war yet, I guess certainly not for this combat phase, but that may come in handy in a future conflict, perhaps. right, so he's updated his influence as well. Very good. Right now, the new presiding magistrate is in charge.
Yep, I was just updating my faction influence as well,
Good work.
and we can continue. So we will now go on to elect a censor. At this stage, I will like to hear from proposing candidates. If there are anyone who would like to raise their hand to take this great role.
Passive approach. Interesting. No takers.
No, I believe in we need to win these wars, not fight amongst our own.
I would like to say I'd like to re-elect Flaminius, as he's currently done a fantastic job so far about trying to persuade people to put more money towards our war fund instead of punishing people for what they've done.
The House of Julii would like to put forward Scorpicius as a faction with no corruption at all in its ranks. It does feel it is one of the pure factions, although as censor we would certainly be looking at not prosecuting any senators this turn, as the focus obviously needs to be on war.
Just don't lose again.
Are there any other senators that should have prior consul markers?
Julius as well.
Yeah,
I'd
let's
like
grab him
to
a
nominate
prior consul
Julius
marker.
as well.
Yep, I'll grab him a prior consul marker now. There we go, because that's right. I'm glad we pointed that out. We must have missed that. Who were our last consuls? Who were our last consuls, folks? Last term?
Julius
Calpurnicus was the Rome consul.
and Julius.
If Copernicus was the Rome consul, he also needs a prior consul marker.
Yeah.
I'll grab that. I can grab that for you if you like. Stand by.
That's right.
Yeah, we all missed that. And you don't want to. Oop, I don't want to resize it. Give me a moment. And yeah, there we go. So yeah, there you go. So there's of course yes. So Julius from the Erudite faction is also eligible, as is Calpurnicus is also eligible, being ex-consuls. Sorry, continue. Good pickup.
All right, thank you very, very much. It is my opinion that to ensure as minimum infighting within the Senate, as well as maintaining the balance of power, which should allow us to move forward as a combined unit, I am very much interested in putting forward Julius as a candidate for the position of censor. And this is, as I say before, is mainly to help maintain the balance of power, especially when it comes to the influence within the Senate. So at this stage, I would like to put forward the proposal that Julius be elected the censor. The Erudite faction, I'll hear your votes first.
I give 10 votes for.
Pre-Byzantine faction.
I abstain. 7 votes abstain.
My own faction, I'll place 6 votes for. The House of Julii, I hear your vote now.
16 votes for.
Fortune's Despair, I'll hear your votes.
8 votes in favour.
And finally, the House of Incognita, I'll hear your vote now.
I'm going to veto this proposal.
All right, throw the card.
Let me get my card out there.
Certainly. Good. I'm pleased to finally see a veto played. That's awesome. So he'll flip that over. I'll let him do that. Right. So we call it a veto card. It's actually a tribune card, but being a tribune card as it is, one of the powers of that card is to veto a proposal on the floor on your factions, or on or before your factions turn to vote, in which is it has been played legally, and therefore the current proposal has been quashed. So back to the dictator.
All right, thank you.
Does that get scribed?
It will. Yes, please.
No
So you don't need to record individual votes now, I guess. Only the fact that it was vetoed by the House of Incognita.
All right.
Very well then.
Well, Scorpicus will put his hand up again.
Yes.
We've all
I
been,
guess
a
within-
bit affronted by that.
Within the same line of thought as before, then I might go to Scorpicus as my next proposal for the position of censor, in order to kind of maintain and balance the faction influence. I'll put forward this proposal now. House of Julia, I'll hear your vote.
16 votes for.
Fortune's Despair, I hear your vote.
8 in favour.
House of Incognita.
I'd like to also veto this one as well.
Holy dooly! He's loaded. Very good. Now I'm pretty sure there's no rules about playing multiple vetoes, because if you've got the cards, you can play them. So at the moment, I'm happy to see that this proposal has also been vetoed, and this proposal has also been squashed.
Very well.
Okay.
Well, Flaminius would like to put a proposal down to go for censor.
I will put forward a proposal for Picius to be our censor. I'll hear from the pre-Byzantine faction first.
7 votes in favour, I guess.
Next, I will skip my.
Where's Calpicius from?
He's over in the
Pre-Byzantine.
pre-Byzantine faction.
Oh, yeah, Copernicus. Yep.
Right.
I'll then go over to the House of Incognita for any Tribune cards that may be played.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'd like to veto this as well.
You're kidding.
Very well.
Third veto. Wow, this guy has all of the
Very well.
tribunes. Wow, this is the first for me. I've never seen this. All right, there's another tribune card played and another veto, so that proposal has also been quashed.
And given my only option, and after farming out 3 Tribune cards, I will. Laminius, I will now put forward a proposal that you become the censor for the coming year. I'll hear the vote from House Incognita.
I'd like to put 9 votes for this.
Erudite faction, I'll hear your vote now.
I'm thinking of playing a Tribune card to squash the
So
proposal.
before
Or is
you
that
do,
not
I think that's the only last available candidate. Noting
so
that
there
the
isn't
only other
actually
candidate
anyone
is.
else.
Correct. That's the last
Let's
available
make sure.
candidate. Now, technically, you can see that Scipio Africanus is a proconsul, but he's not in Rome and therefore not eligible for the vote. So the only last remaining, and technically it doesn't really need a vote. It's automatic. So the outcome of the vote doesn't matter. He is automatically appointed as censor in this case.
Okay, well, I will abstain.
Very
There
well.
you goes. But yeah, I mean, you feel free to continue with the vote so you can see who's displeased or not if you like, but it will be an automatic appointment.
I'll go for the pre-Byzantine next.
7 votes against.
I shall also vote 6 votes against my own proposal at this stage. House of Julii
16 votes against.
and Fortune's Despair.
8 votes in favour.
As this vote was just a complete farce, I shall now hand over to the censor to take over for any prosecutions at this stage.
All right.
Weren't you supposed to do the Master of Horse as well before?
Oh,
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's a good idea. He should technically appoint his Master of Horse, so he can do that now. And while the dictator is appointing his Master of Horse, Flaminius can update his influence for his new position.
very well.
Good pickup. So any senator in Rome that is aligned is eligible to be Master of Horse, provided they don't hold any other major office except censor.
I will choose Julius of the Erudite faction to be my Master of Horse.
Thank
There
you.
we go.
He gladly accepts.
Yes,
All
he
right.
doesn't have a choice.
All the glory, no pay.
All right. If I could request Nemurius Aurelius, if you could help Marca Wedia update her influence for Julius, please. You'll need a 1 and a 2. It goes from Julius will go from 9 to 12 with a +3 additional influence for the post. There we go. So we've got a Master of Horse appointed now. Yeah, good. I'm surprised I missed that one. That's a good pick up there. Well done. Well done to Lucius Julius. And then of course, the censor as presiding magistrate can take over and
The most
do his
popular
thing.
censor in the history of Rome.
Yeah, well, yeah. One of the longest running I've certainly seen in a while.
A very influential one is
A very influential one, yes.
I don't know what you mean.
Let us be reminded that his only prosecution failed, so he hasn't done very well for himself.
Failed successfully though.
In all these years,
Fantastic.
he has not prosecuted anyone. So
He's
Why
failed
would I waste time on a
upwards.
prosecution when we should put our efforts towards facing the wars that are going to destroy our country
well,
eventually?
Well,
the
that's what
prosecution.
you said.
The prosecution you lost was before the war, so can't use that as an excuse.
Just a quick question from the scribe.
Mhm.
Who was the second censorial candidate after Julius?
That would have been Calpurnicus.
Yes.
So from the pre-Byzantium
that was
faction,
the third one. Copernicus
No,
was
it's
the
Picius.
Scorpicius.
Scorpicius,
that's
thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
from House of Julii. That's it. Good work, team.
Well, I'm going to say there's going to be no prosecutions this time, as I believe we should still put our efforts towards the war.
All right. Quick done and dusted. So if you'd like to hand the presiding magistrate plaque back to the good dictator, he can resume his Senate.
No problem.
I'll steal it then.
Yeah, kind of hard on the small screen.
No worries, no worries. All right, thank you very much for that. I'll take over for the rest of the Senate. So we shall go through. We have no governors with vacant positions, as we have not conquered any lands. We do not need to recall any governors. Is there any concession assignments to be done at this stage?
Doesn't appear to be. Nothing in the forum.
Very well. Anyone to propose or revoke land bills?
I think we've got the money for that, haven't we?
Well, that
Well,
would
we
be,
do.
that
It's
would be
just,
at your discretion there,
Yes.
dictator.
I don't think we're at the time for it. I'm not sure.
Well, it depends on how high you think an unrest level is, but I guess it's also a money for jam in terms of sending legions to war kind of consideration as well, right?
That's right.
I mean,
trade-off.
Yeah, I mean, but winning wars helps to reduce unrest levels as well. But you guys can't seem to do that. I don't know. That's
The shade there from the GM.
At this stage, would the Pontius Maximus like to assign any priests?
I mean, the Pontifex Maximus is free to do that at any time, but there's certainly no harm in inviting him to do so.
Mm-hmm.
He is muted at the moment.
Yeah. I take his silence as not at this stage.
No, sorry, I forgot I was muted. I would like to bestow a priesthood upon Papyrus of Fortunatus Despair.
There we go.
Papyrus steps with gratitude and a song in his heart.
All right, I'll bring you a
Yes.
priesthood over.
There you go. And then if Papyrus also wants to grab himself a number 4 for his increased influence there as well. So he'll go from 3 influence to 4 influence, thanks to that priesthood appointment.
He will go off with Achilles, and they will recite chants together for the entire period of battle.
Yes.
At this stage, I'd also like to remind the Senate now that the prosecutions are over for this
Good.
year. You may relieve yourself of any baggage or weight that are upon your minds and senators.
Look at you guys remembering stuff. That's awesome. So yes, please hide the corrupt portion of your concessions behind your senators and remove any red major tokens and put them back at the sides of the field. Nobody is corrupt anymore. So another good pickup. Well done.
At this stage, we'll also go through and issue the Syrian campaign medals. This will be awarded to Scipio Africana and Fabius. The faction will accept the award for Scipio Africana as he is still at war at this stage, but I would issue to Fabius his award now since he has returned to Rome with grim news, unfortunately, but alive nonetheless.
Very good. So I think you've got a. I can help you out because I couldn't work out how to group the tokens. For some of them, they wouldn't group, so your pin will go missing unless you highlight the whole set. But I guess unlike the previous medals, you can actually award these to a specific senator, so they can sit next to their card, which is the intent anyway. So you can see who our current veterans are for particular wars.
At this stage, since I've come a little unprepared to being elected the dictator, I will ask of the field consul to brief the Senate on the current situation befalling Rome. I'll hand over the floor.
Gotta put me on the spot too. Okay. Well, our current situation's pretty dire. Let's just put it straight there. We are currently facing off quite a few wars at the moment. Our last one was quite unsuccessful, to say the least. But hopefully this time around we could have some better luck. Maybe a chance for a different person to take the blame on the role. And hopefully be able to get some wars off our back.
Yes. I think another one to consider is we do have a commander with a active legion currently out in a stalemated position, in a disastered position with the Syrian war. I think at this stage, particularly since they do not have a fleet to continue prosecuting that war, nor do I believe at this stage it's prudent to send reinforcements, that we may consider discussion on recalling this force and commander. Can I hear any discussions or ideas upon this proposal?
Couldn't we look to reinforce Scipio in the field for the fleets and some additional legions, and push for victory in the Syrian war, while also equipping a second force to win the Gallic War?
We certainly could. I do like the idea of the Gallic War, considering it does not have the barbarians have no fleet that we would be required to prosecute, and it being an inland war, there is no supplies that we would have to ship to prosecute. I think it's yes.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, with the new alliance, that we get to send one of these wars back, what one are we going to be aiming that towards? Because obviously, if we fight the Gallic War and the Syrian War, we only get half of we only get 5 talents by sending the Illyrian War away using that card. So I just, we've got to keep that in mind, I guess. So what were we thinking about with regards to that?
Yes, that was exactly what I was going to discuss next. Obviously, with sending the war away, we also receive half of the spoils that we would normally receive from defeating that war as a tribute for the white piece. We obviously have a number of things that we need to discuss when it comes to that. We have quite a few options. We could send the Syrian War away and get quite a number of talents, as well as sending the leader away. So at the end of I believe the Senate phase, we can roll to possibly remove the leader, as low chances that could be. The Punic War is an option to send away as well. Obviously, it will remove the naval victory. Or we can send one of the smaller wars away. We could possibly send the Gallic War away. That will be for receive the 10 talents, and then we can go and prosecute the smaller war with the Iranian War.
I like the key thing for me is what sort of forces can we raise, and will they be sufficient to fight a war on two fronts? I'm less interested in what we can net to the treasury simply by sending a war away. More if it's possible for us to do away with 3 of these bloody things in one session.
Let me have a look. I wasn't prepared with maths for this one, unfortunately. But why don't we see what we can come up with right away?
We can probably raise about 15 units or so.
So currently we have in our standing professional army 7 forces with a upkeep cost of obviously 2 talents per force. So that was going to be a total of 14. We have a state treasury of 174. If we would raise 15 forces, that will be the cost of 150 talents, giving us 24 talents remaining. With the extra forces of 7 plus the 15, that will be, no, let me correctly group my maths.
Talents.
Yes. 44 talents. So that means we would need to gain 20 talents in order to not lose at the end of the round by going bankrupt. So we could possibly look to raise 13. Or the other option, we could guarantee but we should also consider unprosecuted wars. We are going to lose 20 talents for each unprosecuted war, and I think we're saying we're at minimum at least is going to be one of those.
Yeah,
Well,
each
we have
active and unprosecuted.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I had a quick question. Don't naval wars have to be fought before land battles? So doesn't that kind of make it different in terms of we only have limited options about what we can do? I'm just wondering.
Well, currently no war requires a naval victory that we have out on the field.
But you are correct, though, normally. If it does
Okay.
have a fleet strength, yes, you are required to defeat the fleet strength prior to any land battle.
Okay, so that's not the Punic War. I was just
No, because it's already got a naval victory marker, so you guys have
So
already
it's not-
technically
it
won that
doesn't-
naval battle.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
Okay.
But no, that's a great question to ask.
When are the talents paid out for a victory of war?
Immediately, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I understand it to be immediately.
Okay.
And if it's not, it comes in the revenue phase anyway. So in either case, it's going to be there when you need it.
And do we have an opportunity to donate from our personal treasuries to the state treasury before the piper comes to collect his pay?
Yeah. So as per normal in the revenue phase, so you'll notice that all the additions occur first and then all the debits occur second. So yes, you will have that opportunity to, donate to the state treasury prior to the debts.
Can I just get I don't know if this is my role or the dictator, but can I just get a nod or a show of hands about who intends to donate generously to the state treasury again?
I think at this stage we don't have much opportunity not to. We're literally trying to survive here. Another thing may be worth discussing as well, since we raised the idea of donating to the state treasury. We have quite a large angry mob outside the Senate. I think I can hear the jeers from.
Thanks to George Tanos for subscribing tier 1. Now subscribed for 4 months. Sorry to interrupt there, Senators.
No worries.
Look, just acknowledging our donors.
Yeah, so we all need to put some games on.
Yes.
The mob's just hungry for the news of success. They're waiting at the front doors to hear that. Let's give them that.
That's right. And if you give them a victory, they might donate even more.
Yeah, I think obviously sending we've got to win the wars, otherwise the rest of it's all kind of redundant. So if we come home with losses in wars, the mob are going to run over the top anyway. So I would say we should try and raise as many as we can, spend as much as we can.
So could we then perhaps use our alliance on the Gallics and fight those weak Illyrians and those dastardly Syrians?
We certainly could. The other option would be to send the Syrian away. That gets us the most amount of coin, and then we go and try to prosecute the 2 weaker wars, which also has the smaller amount of disaster and stalemate marks, which gets rid of 2 wars.
But then we lose the benefit of Scipio Africanus.
But we can send the other dictator.
His benefit is only to the Punic Wars.
Yeah, so can't we recall him and then send the new dictator out to fight the other wars?
Yes.
And then send the Rome consul. So, I mean, if we sent the Syrian war away and fought the Gallic and the Illyrian wars, which are smaller, we would, if we won those wars, let's say, and we keep our forces, we would then still have Scipio Africanus to go and fight the Punic War the turn after in a potentially good situation.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Which seems pretty strong to me.
Yep. Also, the difference in our military strength compared to our field consul is a difference of 1. But if we were to send our field consul to the Gallic War, the difference in strength with the Syrian War is negated with 11 compared to 10. So it would essentially be the same difference in forces, except we'll have 2 less rolls that will end in a disaster or a stalemate.
Well,
I like this plan.
Yep.
Yeah, well, can't we send the Rome consul to the Illyrian War, which is pretty weak, and then the dictator and the master of the horse to the Gallic, which would...
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
I think
just to double check there. So where are you sending the field consul?
We
to
would
the Illyrians.
Yeah.
So you're sending the field consul to the Illyrians? You're sending the dictator where?
To the Gallic War, or at least that's what we're currently discussing.
Okay. And you talked about sending the Rome consul somewhere as well?
No.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I misspoke.
Oh, okay,
Field
cool.
consul.
Maybe. I just wanted to check that. No, that's cool. Carry on. Sorry.
No worries.
So I'll give you some explanation why I interjected there. So just remember, the order of when the dictator is sent to war doesn't matter, but the order for the field and Rome consul obviously does.
Yes.
So the field consul has to be sent before the Rome consul. Now you can send them both together. That's fine. But you still couldn't send the dictator and say the Rome consul and leave the field consul behind. That's not allowed. But you guys are all over it. That's fine.
Considering what we're looking at here, I think it's clear that we need to raise at least 1 additional fleet to support any prosecution of war when it comes to the Illyrian or the Syrian, as we continue to do our discussions, to help get this off the cards and us to continue to narrow our discussions. I wish to put forward a proposal to raise 1 additional fleet at this stage. I'll hear from the House of Julii for your vote.
Is 17-4?
I'll hear from Fortune's Despair.
8-4.
The House of Incognita.
I'll put 9-4.
No veto?
Yeah,
Erudite, I'll hear your vote.
10 votes for.
How many, sorry?
10 votes for.
Pre-Byzantine, I'll hear from you.
7 votes for.
And I shall put forward my 6 votes for. All right.
Don't forget,
So
Pontimus gets
57
extra
in
votes.
favour and the... sorry?
Pontimus Maximus gets extra votes for war, doesn't he?
Oh, is that for raising as well? So that's 2 for me.
I believe it's just sending
yeah, I
to
thought it was-
war.
Correct. It's about
Okay.
sending both commanders and forces, or recalling commanders and forces, not necessarily about the raising of.
Okay, well
Yes.
then House of Julia should be 16 because the priest took an extra vote.
All right, so that makes us 56 in favour,
Yes.
0 against. Motion's carried.
All right, excellent. I'll see to that force be raised, please. Can I have someone to affect? Yes, Maka, I'll hear from you.
I'll be taking $3 immediately because we've raised a new fleet.
Very good. Well done.
Very well.
I'll get that money for you if you like. For who's that? Plateus. All right. Well,
Yes.
three talents coming his way, and if you'd like to reveal the corrupt portion of his concession now, there we go. Good. You're paying attention. Well done.
And we'll have the state treasury go down by 10.
Good. Yeah, I see we've got the first fleet back. Very good.
All right, so let's continue our discussion when it comes to this point. Is there any dissenting opinion about using our new alliance card to white peace the Syrian war?
No.
No, I think
It sounds like all the
this is okay.
safest option that we're taking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
My
a-
only question is about it though is, since we get the money from it, it's 45. What would we get? Would we get 22 or 23?
We get 22, it's rounded down.
yes. Okay,
Sorry, can I have a quick point of order?
yes,
Decimus?
of course.
When would that war be coming back? Is that in the next 6 cards? That's what we got
Yes.
before, isn't it?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so we've got plenty of time to. Okay.
Yeah. And with that thought in mind, I believe it's worth recalling our current proconsul and Scipio Africana to return to Rome and to rejoin his forces with that of the active forces pool as we continue on with our discussions, and then we can look about raising additional legions to prosecute wars. So the proposal is to recall Africana back to Rome. I will hear from the House of Julii first.
Now you can use your battle votes, ladies and gents.
Okay. 16 votes for. 17 votes for, sorry. Forgot the priest this time.
Fortune's Despair.
10 votes for.
House of Incognita.
I'm putting 9 votes for.
Erudite Faction.
10 votes for.
Pre-Byzantine.
9 votes for.
And I shall place my 6 votes for.
$61 votes for, none against. Motion's carried.
Thank you very much.
I'll put the commander card back in his little home.
I was going to say we'll hold a party for his return, but looking at his unpopularity with the current
Oh, you can give him his. You can give him his medal now too. You can actually put that. You can stick that on his card now that he's back.
It's all right. There's grand plans ahead for Scipio. He's got a redemption arc in his story.
A redemption arc. Oh dear.
I believe last week we talked about stripping the medals from losers.
Oh, that's right. You
maybe
did too.
that's still on the card. I just wanted to remind everyone because I'm still kind of itching for that.
I don't
Well, it's the end of scene 1 for Scipio, so we can throw them to the ground. But
All right. So let's have a look at some number values about what kind of forces that we'll be needing to raise. In the previous year, we raised a force of +10, which seemed to be about the good kind of sweet spot. So I'm interested to see what would be required to match that going forward, with the ideas of prosecuting 2 wars this coming turn, with sending the field consul to the Illyrian War. The military strength of 4 matches with our field consul's military rating. So that would be requiring to raise 10 legions to travel with him. To match the +10 is what we were looking for before. Sending the Dictator and the Master of Horse to the Gallic War is a +9. So we would have a -1. So therefore we would want to have 11. So with that quick math, we would need a legion pool of 21.
How many do we have right now?
6.
We have 6.
Look, so we need 15.
So 15 more.
So
Okay.
that
So
would
we've
be
got enough for
possible
that.
to raise.
So yeah, so we just have to hopefully do the calculations to make sure that we have enough money right next turn.
Have we played the Allied card yet, or does that come later?
That's at the end of this phase. So
Right. Okay.
Yes.
so if we do it on the Syrian, we'll get 22.
Yep.
Yep. 22
then-
onto the 14. We'll have our revenue. I believe we'll have, if everything goes well,
We
we'll
also
only
to
have
raise one
one.
supporting fleet.
Oh, we already did that.
Oh yeah, we did that at the start.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yes,
Ignore
yes, yes.
myself.
We will have one unprosecuted war, if I am correct, which will basically be paid by the White Peace with the Syrian War, and then we will only have to maintain our current legions, and then we can look at possibly spending a lot more of our money focusing on games rather than purely having to send money towards the state treasury to raise additional forces.
So if all our forces survive, we'll need 46, which would, if it came out of the 100 for the turn as well, we should have plenty.
Yes.
Yep.
In that case, is there any dissenting opinion on raising 15 forces to ensure that we would send at least a +10 to each war? In that case, I wish to put forward the proposal of raising 15 legions in the defense of Rome. I'll hear from the House of Julii.
17 votes for.
Fortune's Despair.
8 votes in favour.
The House of Incognita.
I've got 9 for.
I'll hear from the Erudite faction.
10 votes for.
The Pre-Byzantine.
7 votes for.
And I shall add my 11 votes for.
Look at you big spenders.
I believe that will be a pass of the proposal. So we
Would be.
will. So that brings our state treasury to 14 talents.
Oily rag.
That's all you need.
Or is a bit of tar pine on the boats.
Yeah, that's it. How flammable is Posca? They're watered down
Oh.
wine.
Quick point, Marker. We built a ship before, so you should get 3 talents.
That's, I believe, already been done.
Oh, sweet.
Yep, she got the initial 3
Miles
talents for
away.
that ship. That's it.
Sweet. All for the state treasury.
She was very quick to highlight that.
I'm currently just arranging the legions to be
Yep.
brought up to the active forces pool.
Very good.
I would like to leave the floor open for anyone to do any minor proposals or discussions at this stage.
To suggest minor proposals and discussions.
Yes.
I think I should get all the Tribune cards.
I think you did.
I'll put a tribute
Yeah.
against that proposal.
Can't be
I
many
would
left.
just like to propose a vote of thanks for Marcus Decimus Meridius for his excellent martial administrative leadership. Let's hope that it's not just good staff work that we see, that we also see good tactical leadership.
Thank you.
You can put that to vote if you like, Dictator. Have
No,
it officially on the record.
I can feel the love and the warmth coming from my fellow senators. I hope to feel that same love from the citizens of Rome during the speech for the public address.
Fingers crossed.
In the next year.
Yes.
And from the church.
Let's hope so.
Yes, of course.
I've got my
Well,
prayer
with
ready
that-
for that.
With that reminding me, I'd also like to hear from the Pontius Maximus for any chant he would like to raise to Jupiter.
Of
At
course.
this point.
I have specifically picked out a prayer to Jupiter. I apologize, I've actually lost the source, but apparently I've edited it slightly, but it's a historical prayer. So I shall read it. Let our foes be beaten, our citizens safe, our state at peace, peace assured, and the war brought to a triumphant conclusion, with our army and garrisons intact. I pray to you, Jupiter, for your kindly aid and all the other divine powers of heaven, that we are avenged on our enemies.
Here.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask where these prayers were before.
Yes.
We bet on the wrong horse.
Yes. No more Mars, guys. He's a bit of a warmonger. That's Cornelius pointed out.
After hearing that, I think the next proposal needs to be sending the field consul, as well as assigning him 2 fleets and 10 legions to go forth and prosecute the Iranian war. I'll put this to vote now. I'll hear from House Julii.
17 votes for.
I'll hear from Fortune's Despair.
10 votes in favour.
The House of Incognita.
9 votes for.
The Erudite faction.
10 votes for.
The Pre-Byzantine.
9 votes for.
And I shall put my 11 votes for as well.
Comfortable passage there.
So I'll just control the forces.
67 votes in favour in total.
Thank you very
Unified
much.
Very good. All right. I'll get some stuff for who was it? Aemilius, right?
Yes.
Excuse me if there's stuff passing through your zone that doesn't belong. Give me a moment.
How many legions was it? 10 legions?
10 legions, correct. And 2 fleets.
And the Dictator, you're dragging them up to the war card, is it? Oh, yes, you have.
Yes.
Good. Well done, you.
Thank you.
I'm just getting some purple tokens for Aemilius. What is he? A field consul? He wants that one. It's a little bit arbitrary. We sort of know what's going on, but just to keep it on
Of
board.
course. And just a
Actually,
reminder to
I know that
the
one.
House
You
of
actually got me.
Incognita, I believe your voting power will be reduced at this stage,
I was
as
just about to
the
ask that.
field consul has immediately ridden off from the Senate after hearing the result of the vote. All right, I believe the final proposal for the Senate for this year will be sending the Dictator and the Master of Horse with our remaining legions, totaling of 11, to go and prosecute the Gallic War. I'll hear from the House of Julii.
17 votes for.
Fortune's Despair.
10 votes in favour.
The House of Incognita.
9 votes for.
The Erudite faction.
10 votes for.
Pre-Byzantine.
9 votes for.
And I'll put my 11 votes for. Motion is passed.
It is
That
67.
That is the end of the Senate phase.
All right, while we're here at the end and we're processing some stuff, which war are you applying the new alliance card to?
We will be applying that to the Syrian War.
To the Syrian War, okay. So, first of all, I'm going to remove the age token on that war because that is no longer relevant. I'll put that back in there. Very good. Next, the hero will go to the Curia because he is no longer assigned to a war. I'll leave the dictator and/or his appointed representative to update the treasury with the half rounded down of the 45.
Done.
Thank you.
Good. And I'll hide the Syrian war away, and I'm going to roll a special number that you guys won't know about in the back end now. Okay, I've been told by the gods when that will return.
6 goats.
Wouldn't that be lovely? Lovely doubly.
A 1.
If you're rolling ones, we need to know that now before you do the next roll.
Yes. And you can all go have a look at the active wars area. You can admire the armor again of our commanders out there. Looks they all look pretty good. Very good. Just organising them. Good. No fleet support for the Gallic War. That's always nice to see, isn't it?
Yes.
What am I looking for? I'm also looking for a combat results table to see what happens. Cool bananas. All right. So let us just double check. So we have now wrapped up the Senate phase. We've actioned that event card. I'm going to pull that event card out of the way now that we've applied it. So we don't get confused. So let me deal with that now as well, and then we'll start talking about combat. Let's see how you guys go. 2 wars. This is good. So you guys haven't fought 2 wars at once before, albeit different wars. So you had the cash there. I guess you want. I mean, it'd be nice to win both, but you definitely want to win at least one.
Yep. Both should have a +10 to our roll.
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to zoom in on the combat results table, so the crowd at home should be able to see as well. There we are. Okay, so let's step through slowly. Which war would you like to prosecute first?
I think as the leader, the dictator should lead his forces first.
Okay. All right. Let's start with the strength of the enemy war plus any leaders.
So there are no leaders. The strength of the enemy war is 10.
Okay. And what is the danger numbers for this war that we don't want to roll?
It will be a 13 and a 15.
Okay. And tell me about the Senate's strength of their legions plus the military strength ratings of all those commanders involved.
That will be 20.
Right. That is a strength difference of 10. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to roll the 3d6 and add 10 to that. So that's quite a large force and a good base number. So really, provided you don't roll a disaster or standoff number, you're going to get a good victory there. Right. So that gets the dictator's commander. That'll be you, Marcus Decimus. Let's go ahead and let's roll this war first. I guess you got the choice of the roll 20 roll, or you can elect for me to roll manually at my end here. And we will see what the outcome is.
I'll use the roll 20.
Okay. It's got to go somebody's way 1 point. All right, we've rolled a 7. Plus
Victory.
10.
Hurrah!
17.
Yay!
And look, we have not rolled a disaster or a standoff number.
Yes.
Yay.
Keep it up.
I like that. I saw the roll come up.
The prayer worked.
I said 7's a bit low. Oh, hang on a minute. They had a strength difference of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's slowly step through because we've never had a victory before. So
Minimal losses as well.
Yeah, we know.
let's savor this a lot. So first of all, what does 17 read on the victory table?
It is a victory with 1 legion and 1 fleet loss.
Hurrah!
1 fleet and 1 legion loss. Okay.
We have no fleets.
So we have no fleet, so we're just going to lose just the one legion. Now, this is a random selection, so I just need to roll that now. Now, I have a D20 die here somewhere. Here we go. So I'll tell you what legion sacrifices themselves for the good. Is there a 15th legion out there? XV? No. Is there a 13th legion? See a 12th? No. 13. We say there's a 12th legion?
Yes.
Yeah, the 12th legion unfortunately sacrificed themselves. So if somebody wants to return the 12th legion to the forces pool all the way down the bottom again, they have given their lives. So while we're talking about legions, let's go ahead and find which of our legions excelled so well that they've reached veteran status. So I guess the ruling here is every time there is a victory, a randomly selected legion is upgraded. It's to a veteran status, which essentially allows it to be worth double in future combats. All right, so I'm going to again use my D20 die here, and we'll determine which legion becomes awesome. Is there a 10th legion? Frontesis? No, not in this round. Is there a 7? Yes, there is. So the 7th Legion is now going to become a veteran legion. So first of all, if I could ask the dictator to swap out that token down the bottom with the equivalent veteran token and throw that back in that area. And while he's down there, I'm hoping it's down there, you should see your Legion Allegiance marker for the 7th Legion. And if you'd like to put that on your dictator's card back in Rome. So for those who haven't seen this yet, so a victorious commander gains the allegiance of one veteran, per conflict, per war. So in this case, the 7th Legion became veterans, and now that allegiance of the 7th Legion is now associated with Quintigus Flaminius. And that gives him some special options later that he can consider during the revolution phase. So we'll see what he does with that. But we'll talk about that point when we get there. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is let's deal with death chit draws. So even though it's a victory, we still have to check for death of the commander and or master of horse in this case due to the loss of legions and fleets. So who can tell me how many death chits we need to draw?
1.
Is it only for legions or is it for legions and fleets?
We didn't lose any fleets.
Good. That was a trick question. So we only need to draw the one death chit token. So we want to make sure that we don't draw an 18 or a 4. So if I invite the dictator to roll the death chit table, and he's going to roll a 29. So both commanders survive. That's very good. They live. Next from here, there is rewards for the dictator for also gaining a victory. Who would like to look up in their book as to what the dictator gains as a result from gaining victory? Who can tell me what that is? Who's quicker on the PDF and or hard copy rulebook? Poached Trout says, praise Jupiter.
Indeed.
Yes, apparently Mars is not a favourable god.
No, I guess not. So it'll be under, so in the combat phase section under victory, if you control F victory for those looking at a digital copy.
It's 1.10.4.
Mm-hmm.
So a land victory lowers the unrest level by -1 and
Very
eliminates
good.
the war cards.
Good.
That's
So
about naval
just,
victories.
yeah, we're just looking at what happens for the commander at this stage.
Yep.
But if somebody would like... somebody
the
would
victorious
like
commander
to-
increases both his popularity and influence by half, fractions rounded up.
Of
There we
the-
go.
Unmodified printed land or fleet war strength number.
So the first Gallic War is 10, half that is 5. So he gets to increase his popularity and influence by 5. There we go. Good. And in fact,
Master
I'd
of
just
Horse
like to
gets a
point
pat
out,
on the back.
Master of Horse gets a pat on the back. That's right. Poached Trout in chat pulled that up before all of you. So Poached Trout gets the points there. So 5 pop and 5 influence for our dictator for gaining victory there. And no doubt the next Senate session there'll be some medals for him coming his way, which will be awesome. I'll have to review with the Honours and Awards Committee to see which ones they are. We are also at this point in time, so go-ahead dictator, either yourself or an appointed official, can reduce the state unrest level from 7 to 6. So that's always a great direction for the unrest level to go. And while you guys are working with numbers, you get to add 20 talents to the state treasury.
I'll take care of that.
Good.
right,
Numerous
thank you
Aurelius
very
is going to
much.
look after the treasury side.
I'm doing the unrest.
We also
All
get
right.
Cisplina Goal as a
Hey, I was waiting for somebody to come in there. This is great. I don't think the group last year got to see a province at all. Did you? So we are now getting to see you guys creating a province, which is awesome. So I'd invite... in fact, I'll go get it because it's all the way up the top of the board. So we are creating Gallia Cisalpina. I'm going to scroll up the top here. I'm going to pull that out of the deck of cards. There's Gallia Transpolina. Let's have a look down here. That's Africa. I felt the rains down in Africa. Asia. No, that's not the one we got. No. There it is. All right, and I'm going to plop this province in the forum. So that'll be for the Senate to assign in the next Senate phase. Down, down. Prices are down. Down, 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 down. There we go. That's in the forum. Look at all this happy stuff happening. Isn't it lovely when you win wars? I get to send the Gallic War to the discard pile. But our commanders and forces are going to remain there where they are for the moment. For reasons that will become clear in just a moment, but otherwise should be a non-event. Okay, so great. So we note that was the first Gallic War. It's been defeated. Victory creates the province of Gallia Cisalpina. All right, so our state treasury has some money. That's great. There is a province waiting for to be assigned. That's also awesome. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly talk through the province features again because I think it's awesome. And while we're talking about good stuff, so I'm going to zoom in for everybody here and for the people at home. So. Yeah, Poached Trout says, because the game isn't complicated enough, let's go ahead and add provinces. Yes, provinces create a whole wealth of extra rules that you need to learn as a governor. I mean, managing a province is perhaps not too bad, but when it comes to wars, that becomes a whole other kettle of fish. You're all looking at the war card right now. So it has it has a base strength of 1. So that is an inherent strength that the province owns when it has to fight against an incursion or a war that's occurring. And you can actually see in the bottom middle center there, it says defends. And so every time you see a Gallic war, the Germanic migrations, or the Second Punic War, this province becomes under attack. And in the case where the Senate has not sent a force against the war that is attacking the Senate and that province, then the governor of that region is forced to attack the war. So essentially, if a war is not prosecuted by the Senate, the governor will attack that particular war card with whatever forces he has. And as you can see here by the numbers, the number 5 next to the little soldier down there represents the total number of provincial forces that may be raised by the governor during the course of his term. So you start with 0 provincial forces and you can add up to 5 and they are generated through the use of local taxes. And you see the local taxes there in blue on the right-hand side currently equals 15. So you get a total of 15 talents to spend on provincial forces each turn. Now, as you know, a force costs 10. So you can really only raise 1 with that. But the governor may contribute his own funds to bolster that. So if he adds another 5 talents from his personal treasury, he'd have subsequently 20 talents and he could buy up to 2 provincial forces in the one turn. You can't bank that, you can't save it, but that renews each cycle. And the governor has the option to spend that each turn to raise provincial forces. The provincial spoils there, as I guess, is perhaps a perk of the position. So like your concessions, the governor can take in provincial spoils and add that to his personal treasury. However, he does become corrupt in that process. Now, noting there does have a 1d6 minus 1. And in this case, it's not too bad because if you roll a 1, it just becomes 0. But you'll often see some provinces that are underdeveloped will sometimes have a negative number. And either the governor has to pay that debt or he could pass that on to the Senate should they so choose. I don't think it'd be very popular if you did that, but nonetheless, you can do that. The state income there represents how much money the state of Rome will get per turn as well. And you can see again 1d6 minus 1. So this is not a bad province. It's not usually going to cost you any debt. Now, you can't raise fleets on this one. It doesn't require fleets at all. I think it's more or less mostly landlocked anyway. Now, the other option that the Senate has as well concerning provinces is that you can send provincial garrisons there, i.e. you can raise a state legion and send them to the province, and they will come under the command of the local governor should he need to fight a war card on his own. So it's good for fighting revolts that occur or defending against a war card. There's a whole bunch of options, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I just wanted to give you guys a general overview. The only other thing I haven't covered is that if the governor is not corrupt, i.e. he does not take provincial spoils, he may elect to attempt to develop the province, i.e. it'll make it better and you'll get more perks and more money, and you get a +1 to your roll if you're not corrupt in that regard. Okay, that's a quick crash course on provinces.
Is the governorship elected in perpetuity, or can it be changed?
So that's what that centre bottom middle number is. It says 3. That is your maximum term limit for the province. Right. So a governor, if it comes up as a standard proposal, and you've seen that in your list on your Senate phase there. So the presiding magistrate goes, I think Senator Bloggs should be the governor. You all vote on that. If he is voted, then he immediately leaves Rome, and he goes off to govern that province for 3 Senate sessions, essentially 3 cycles. Now, when that drops to 0, he returns to Rome automatically. Now, of course, like the Pontifex Maximus position, the Senate can recall a governor early, but there always must be a governor governing a province. You can never leave a province ungoverned, okay? So you always need to elect a governor unless there is absolutely no governors or no potential candidates for governor left. That was a good question. Any other questions? Cool. Okay. All right, what else do we need to talk about? So I think we've more or less covered it there. We're about to do another piece of combat, I think. Yes, I think so. Poached Trout will no doubt pull me up. I'm going to take a drink. Unknown Star 120 has redeemed beverage time. So even for my senators, if you have a beverage, please take a sip now. Thanks to Unknown Star, who's much closer than we all realise. Good. All right. That's great. Let's keep the momentum going. I think we've covered all our bases for a victory there. Let me just double check. Good, your unrest level's down. The treasury's up. Provinces are in. This is very exciting. Okay, let's go back to our combat table and let's finish off this combat phase. Zooming in again for everybody playing at home. Oh, right. All right, new piece of paper for me. Talk about what is the strength of the enemy war?
Strength is 4.
Strength is 4. Tell me, what are the danger numbers we don't want to roll?
5 and 17.
5 and 17. Now, tell me about the total strength of the Senate's forces, including commanders.
14.
14. With another strength difference of 10. You'd have to roll pretty poorly here. Who is the commander? Who is the commander?
Aurelius.
And which faction is Aurelius from?
House of Incognito.
Okay, yeah, you don't seem very confident there, Field Console.
Not at all.
Okay, so as you are the commander, you're in charge of rolling here, so I'll give you the same option. You can either use the Roll20 rolling feature, or you can request that I do a manual roll for you at this end.
Let's go with the Roll20. Why not?
He's going to go for the Roll20, all right? Nobody's confident with the manual rolls. You all think I'm out to get you.
Yep.
Despite the bad luck with the Roll20, he's going to elect that. So go ahead, roll your 3d6, and let's see how you go. Fingers crossed. He's going to roll 14. He avoids the danger numbers. No 5s, no 17s. Plus 10, that's off the charts.
Huzzah!
So he's going to get a no losses victory. See, why can't you guys do that all the time? Isn't that
brilliant?
Yeah,
we lost 1 legion.
So in 2 wars, you guys lose just barely a single legion. Now I can also tell you off the bat straight away, because our field console obtained a no losses victory, essentially, i.e. he keeps all his legions intact. He'll be awarded a special medal in the next Senate session, which I can tell you about. It's called the Eagle of Supremacy. It's for those that are looking at home, down the bottom of the medals. It's under the Conspicuous Service Awards. Medal number 5. The Eagle of Supremacy is awarded to a console commander that wins a war without taking any losses. So in addition to his campaign medal, he'll also be awarded an Eagle of Supremacy, which is very exciting. So that's good work. Okay, so let's go through the process again. So we know we don't have to roll for death chits, which is really awesome. I'm going to go back up to the legions fighting the Illyrian War here, and we're going to deal with the legions first in terms of making one a veteran. I'm going to pull out my D20 die. I'm going to see which randomly selected legion becomes a veteran. So I'm going to roll here. Is there a 17th legion? Nope. Is there a 13th legion in this one?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So perhaps somebody want to support the commander and exchange the 13th legion to become a veteran legion. And if somebody could also, or even the commander himself could probably do that, is get the 13th legion allegiance marker and place that on his senator back in Rome to show that new affiliation, how much his soldiers love and praise his awesome battleness. And while the commander is doing things, he can award 2 influence and 2 popularity to his senator, rounded down from 4. So Aemilius is going to go from 6 influence to 8 influence and gain 2 popularity. So I'll let the field commander do that. Dun, dun, dun. And of course, fleets don't get to get veteran status, unfortunately. Can't have a superior admiral. Okay, so while the field console is working on that, let us please, perhaps Numerius Aurelius can add 10 talents to the state treasury.
Doing it now. Done.
Good. And perhaps maybe the dictator can go ahead and reduce the unrest level by 1 from 6 to 5 for the state unrest level. That's another great direction. I'll go ahead and delete the Illyrian War card. Now, it's worthy of note here. So no provinces are created yet, because you'll need to defeat the first Illyrian War. And it's worth noting that if and when the first Illyrian War is drawn, it won't be a normal war card. It'll be considered a revolt. So because you defeated a latter war first, i.e. or the last war in the series first, any previous war to that, in the case there's only one, it's only going to be considered a revolt. So there won't actually be any spoils of war associated with that. So even if it's worth, say, 15 for defeating it, you'll get nothing because it's considered a revolt because you've already defeated the last war in the series. However, you will get the province once you defeat that first Illyrian War. Okay, so I'm going to drag that war card down to the discard pile. I'm loving discarding all these wars, guys. This is brilliant. Bringing him to the front. All right, so let's go check our stats. So the state treasury, that's been bumped up, has it? Yes, it has. And the state unrest level's down. Good. Let's go check on our field console commander, and let's check him out. He's got his new influence and he's got his new popularity. That's fantastic. He's got his new 13th Legion marker as well. We're souping along really well. I haven't somebody replaced the 13th Legion marker up next to Aemilius. I haven't seen it return yet. Who was working on that for me?
I was taking away the old one, so I can bring up the new one.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's just taking you a little bit. That's okay. Take your time. So,
that's all right. I hadn't done it. That's why it wasn't done.
Okay, that's all right. We'll do that now. Poachstrout asks who the dictator is. The dictator is currently Quinticus Flaminius, which is Marcus Decimus of the faction down the bottom here. Justitia Marita. Quintus Flaminius is the dictator. Now currently on 17 influence and 5 popularity. And that popularity will go a very, very long way to helping keep that unrest level low. So that's quite beneficial. So that victory couldn't have come at a better time for a better individual perhaps. That's great. All right. I think we are done. So let's do recaps. So we've changed unrest levels, we've changed state treasuries, we've created provinces where we've needed to, we've given popularity and influence to commanders where we've required, we've drawn death chits where we've needed to, and in that case there's only one because we only lost one legion, and we've created veteran legions where we needed to, and the veteran allegiance markers are now associated with our commanders, and their medals will come in a future Senate session, but that's not a part of core game mechanics. I think we've covered everything. Senators, is there anything that we've missed? I think we've done all right. And Poach Trout would have spoken up as well. He would have known if we've missed something. And I'm sure he's just double checking his own rule book now as well. But I think we've covered all our bases, all positive bases too. So I'm very guys. I'm so excited. And you guys thought that, you know what, I'm going to brave it and continue with the Roll20 engine. Nobody reverted to my manual rolls here. That's look. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you guys right now. And you knocked out 2 wars in one go.
Very technically, yeah.
Oh, well, technically 3, really. Yes. So that's fantastic. All right, let's move on. We can't celebrate and have triumphs forever. Poach Trout says, quite a change in the state of things compared to this time last turn. Ah, dear. Oh, I'm ecstatic, guys. I'm so happy for you, Zay. And this is why I like to play this game. I like to see the wins. I like to see the victories. Okay. Now we've concluded the combat phase. Let's do the ending bits there. So we've got no provinces hit with provincial wars. Now, do we have any unprosecuted wars? We do. That is with the Punic War there. And we see the War Exhaustion. Now, I'd request that, because Numerus Aurelius is close, if you could please age the Punic War from 2 to 3, please. So what that's suggesting is you guys have got, 2 years left to defeat that war. But I'm pretty sure that's on your agenda for the coming turns, I'm sure.
Already sharpening his sword.
Yes. So the first Punic War is now 3 years old. So remember, as per the rules there, if any war with an age marker of 6 is not defeated, results in the loss of all players. So you don't want to be having a war card that ages to 6 at the end of the combat phase. And we don't have formal active wars, so we meet that condition there. Let's move on to the revolution phase. So first of all, as per the sheet there, we have the voluntary retirement rule. Just double checking. I think we've got at least 1 senator. Yet? No, we don't. I don't think so. Nobody's age 7 yet, are they? Nope. Nobody's age 7 yet? No. Okay, so there'll be no voluntary retirement just yet. So next from there, we've got intrigue. So we're going to go to the highest ranking available officer in Rome. So who is that right now, ladies and gentlemen?
It's the Rome consul.
It is the Rome consul, who didn't leave home. He's currently at home from Fortuna's Despair. So we're going to go to Fortuna's Despair now under the good command of Tiberius Cornelius. And we'll start with you today. If you'd like to play any intrigue cards at this point in time.
I would not.
You would not? Okay. And nothing else to do there. All right, let's go across to the House of Julii. Would you like to play any intrigue cards at this point in time?
No, I would not.
All right. Let's go to Justia Marita. Would you like to play any intrigue cards at this time?
Yes.
All right. What would you like to do?
Let's bring it out.
Bring it on out, 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 bring it on out. And he's going to flip it over. Ah, cool. He's going to, let me send that to the back for you. To back, you're going to assign mining to a senator. And he's going to assign that, appears to Scipio Africanus.
Yeah.
So he's going to take up the...
Because I believe I can't assign it to a senator that's away. Because after a victory, wouldn't they not return?
That happens very shortly. This is a formal process that we've often just sort of automated in the past, but I am making it more obvious. It's not so important now, but may become important in the future. I suspect, and again, Poach Trout may correct me here, and we can always fix it later, but you can assign it to any senator.
Okay.
I'm happy for you to assign it to any senator, but if we're corrected later, that's a very easy move. That's a very easy fix if we're wrong. Yep. So assign it to who you want for now, and we can always double check whether a concession can only be assigned to a senator in Rome. That may be the case. It sounds sensible, doesn't it? But we'll follow that up later. Like I said, that's an easy fix. Okay. Any more cards you'd like to play at this point in time?
No, thank you.
All right. Up to Pre-Byzantium. Pre-Byzantium, would you like to play any intrigue cards at this point in time?
No.
Nothing from you. Okay, let's go across the Erudite faction. Would you like to play intrigue cards at this point in time? Marca Wedia.
No, I wouldn't. Thank you.
Okay, not a problem. I'm just going to put in the what we call the Rainbow Puke fix on on Numerus Aurelius, who was fuzzy on our stream. That's okay, he's fixed now. Good. And let's go across to the House of Incognito. Would you like to play any intrigue cards at this point in time?
Firstly, I will not be retiring my senator, and secondly, no.
Okay, very good and good. All right, so that includes the intrigue phase there. Now, let's talk about the next part there. You can see that in blue. It's called Victorious Commanders. So there is a special rule that occurs at this time, which is an option. It's not a mandated choice. It's certainly an option. So the Victorious Commanders get an option that at this point they can choose to disband their veteran legion, and what that will mean is they will get +1 influence and +1 oratory. So obviously the influence is good for influence, and the oratory is good for votes, as you're well aware, and for things like prosecutor and advocate, etc. And then what happens is you hang on to those and you'll maintain your veteran allegiance marker, but the veteran disappears, so the Senate can't use it. Okay, so that veteran legion disappears. Now, having said that, though, at any point during a Senate session in the future, that senator, that ex-victorious commander, can choose at a whim to bring that veteran legion back. Now, he'll lose his oratory and influence, of course, because his soldiers have to come back, put their armor back on, and then give that veteran legion back to the Senate for use during a Senate session at any time. And you can see that. Pretty sure it's even written on your sheet. So if you look at anytime optional in your cheat sheets in the Senate phase, it says recall disbanded veteran legions, dictator or consul only. Okay, so by it appears you have to be a dictator or a consul to do this as well. And you get, of course, you'll lose your influence and oratory that you gain from disbanding them in the first place. So let's start with ask the direct question. Let's start with the dictator. Dictator, would you like to disband your legion or keep them as they are? Available
at this stage, I will keep them as they are, as I believe the brave veteran troops will be required to continue to defend Rome and its people.
That's very nice. And your peers will appreciate that. Let's go to the field consul. Now, field consul, would you like to disband or keep your legions as they are?
Just a quick question first.
Yes.
How much influence is it for consul for life?
So automatic appointment occurs at what value, ladies and gents?
Automatic would be 25.
25.
Is it 25?
I thought it was 25. I might be mistaken.
30?
No, it was 21 to vote, isn't it? And then
Yeah, so they become an eligible candidate from 21, but an automatic appointment occurs at another influence value. And who can tell me what that value is? So far, nobody's said it.
35.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody looked in chat. Well done. So Poach Trout has pointed out for us, 35 is an automatic appointment for consul for life, which is a winning condition. I also wanted to point out too that Poach Trout said, as per rule 1.11.1, that's a nice number, statesmen and concessions can be played even if the target senator is not in Rome. So you're good with that concession choice before there, Marcus Decimus. So well done.
Excellent.
Okay, so both. So you've yet to make your decision on your consul.
No,
Any
I
other
will
questions?
not be disbanding them.
Okay, cool. All right, so the veteran legion is going to stay in play for the Senate to utilise. That's awesome. Okay, let me look down at your hands. Nobody has more than 5 cards right now. That's really good. Okay, let's go through the last step there, and I've left this nice and obvious because it's important that we make this an obvious step, but although the outcome is usually always quite predictable anyway. So it's called the Declaration of Rebellion. This is a formal process where victorious commanders come back to the edge of the Rubicon and formally stand down their legions. They all take off their armor and their swords and weapons, and they move back to Rome as standard free citizens. Okay, so you're not allowed to march into Rome under arms, as Julius Caesar famously did, crossing the Rubicon, where the Rubicon was considered the border of the Italian provinces, and was subsequently seen as an aggressive act. So we have to formally ask each of our victorious commanders that they are actually going to stand down their forces, take off their weapons, and return to Rome as free citizens, where they will then be able to enjoy a triumph held by the people. So first of all, let's start with the dictator, who's being followed by his master of horse. Dictator, do you stand down your forces and return everybody to Rome as free citizens? I.e., you do not make a declaration of rebellion.
Yes, I will be returning with my legions as free citizens of Rome.
Very good. and let's go ask the same question of our other victorious commander of the field console. Will you be standing down your forces and everybody returning as free and able citizens?
Oh, I suppose it would be a smart idea to do that at this time.
There we go. So all victorious commanders have handed their forces back to Rome. So I would request that both the commanders go put all their forces back in the AstroTurf of the active forces box, and I will return the little commander cards back to the appropriate area. Very good. I'll slip these guys up the top here. All right, Sempronius Agricola in chat there wants me to point out that Julius Caesar was the first to march his army into Rome. Now I'll get rid of that token as well. And Poach Trout says, actually, I believe Cornelius Sulla gets that distinction. Yeah, I thought maybe Sulla did as well. Sulla or Marius, or is it just Sulla that did it? Or did they end up actually marching their armies into Rome? Or was that just Caesar? There you go. So Sempronius Agricola. Yeah, follow that. So Sulla. There you go. So Sulla. Look at all this history discussion. I love it. Very good. Okay, so that concludes our revolution phase, folks. That was also action-packed. No other victory conditions at this point in time. Let's go back to the mortality phase. Now, but I think...
Just a quick question first.
Yeah, fire away.
We can remove the away from Rome now, right?
Yes, please do. You guys are now considered back in Rome, so please remove your away from Rome tags and pop that back down under the section below. So you guys are back in Rome, so update your faction vote dials. You guys are back in Rome now. That is correct. Once we complete the mortality phase, we'll take our normal break like we usually do, folks. Give yourselves a leg stretch and refresh your beverages. So let's duck through the mortality phase and go from there. So imminent war activation, we don't have any. We've already increased the age of our wars, so let's age our senators. So a reminder, be very, very careful as you age your senators. So make sure that you're aging your senators correctly with the correct death chit tokens. Perhaps Numerius Aurelius, once you're finished, if you could kindly help Marca Wedia to get her the correct tokens for her senators, please. That would be really good once you finish yours. And yeah, so everybody should age their senators now. So if they don't have one, they'll gain another one, for example. We're going to see a lot of senators reach age 7 this round as well, which will be very interesting, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I just want people to age their senators at the moment. So everybody increases by 1.
I've got your 7 here marker for whoever it's for. I'll put that 4 back.
Thank you. Could you take my 4, please?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yep.
Good teamwork, team. Well done. All aging up. So, of course, those watching in chat, we are using the Aging Senators rule from the Avalon Hills edition of the Living Rule Set version 2.16. So we're using 3 different rules from the Avalon Hills edition to just ever so manipulate our game, which is based on the Valley Games Living Rules edition version 1.06 alpha. So that's War Exhaustion, Aging Senators, and Exile/Voluntary Retirement rules. Hearing some typing going on. Somebody has asked me a question. I'm going to respond to that as well. Yes, I need to do that. Stand by. Let's adjust some. There we go. Okay, try that now. Quintus Octavius, your cards should be in the correct order.
Thank you.
Somebody's dropped some bits in chat. There we go. Sempronius Agricola. Of course it was. 100 bits in chat. Thank you very much for your contribution there. Always a pleasure to have you on board and helping and watching the stream. That's fantastic. 100 bits for Rome. So we're all donating to the state treasuries. That's marvelous. Somebody's asked me a question. I'm going to respond to them via message because that'll be easier for me. So I'll let everyone else finish off. Manipulating and aging their senators, and perhaps while we're doing that, we might run a quick 30-second ad break for the non-subscribers. So we'll be right back. And for everyone else who doesn't get ads, you can watch us finish up our mortality aging here. So if you've got particular questions about particular instances, don't forget the guides in our Facebook group, Senators, if you've got questions.
Now I'm waiting for next year when you start doing stream points to add talents to the state treasury and other events.
Yeah, that's right. So Sempronius Agricola has come through with some more donations. He's gifting 2 tier 1 subs to the community, which is awesome. So Master Splinter 3487 gets another tier 1 sub. Congratulations to Master Splinter there. And Denault also gets a tier 1 sub as well, thanks to Sempronius Agricola. So you guys enjoy your new subs and enjoy your new emotes as well.
Thank you very much for the sub.
Thanks very much for the continued donations. That's awesome, and I love hearing those donation cheer bits and sub sounds in the chat. That's great. All right, so we've now aged our senators. We're going to go around the board, and we're just going to do some checks. So now that we've got some elder statesmen, we now have to see if we see any natural death occur. So I'm going to go down to Fortuna's Despair first, and we're going to do the check. And we see that Paprius, who's also a priest, ID number 11, is now an aged senator, an elder senator. So any senator that is 7 or up has to roll a 1d6, and on a 6, they will die of natural causes. If they don't roll a 6, then they will continue to live. Now, upon a natural death, if that does occur, then the owning faction gets to make a once-off unopposed persuasion check to see if they can keep that senator in the faction. They don't have to worry about loyalty or alignment numbers, so it makes it a fairly easy roll, but they do have to subtract any money on the card. But in this case here, Paprius doesn't have any, but let's ignore that. Let's hope he continues to live. He's a scribe, I believe, so we want to see how well he does, and he rolls a 1, so he's going to very much live. I mean, he's practically running marathons with a roll of 1, so he will continue to survive. House of Julii, we see that Aurelius is now an elder senator. So if I could have Aurelius roll a 1d6 now, and we will see if he ages. No, he rolls a 3. He's going to continue to live. That's great news. No natural deaths there. Over to Justia Marita, we see that Valerius is now an elder statesman running our harbour and implementing fees. He'll roll a 2. So no problems there. He'll continue to live quite happily. We're going to scroll up to pre-Byzantium now. Junius, the Pontifex Maximus, is now an elder statesman. So the Pontifex Maximus and Junius is now going to roll a 1d6. And fingers crossed. Oh dear, the Pontifex Maximus has passed away.
All right. Such good prayers.
Right, so first of all, I'd request that Numerius Aurelius, if you could return his 8 influence token back to the side of the field, if you could wipe his number 7 token and put that back, and if you could move his Pontifex Maximus token probably back to the sandpit is fine for the Senate to consider in the next Senate phase. And so that will prompt the Senate that perhaps you'll need to elect a new Pontifex Maximus in the time to come. So we're now going to go
we say
through...
Vale Junius?
Yeah, that's it. You'll say Vale to Junius. That's right. Or Bonum Noctum. Good night. But we will give the opportunity to Numerius Aurelius now to make what is an unopposed persuasion attempt, and that can be by any senator in his possession. So first of all, to Numerius Aurelius, what senator would you like to be doing the persuading with?
Does it matter? Sorry.
Yes, it always matters, and it's usually you'd like to pick one with the highest influence.
Well, I guess it'll be Fabius then.
It will be Fabius, and he has an influence of 8, and he has an oratory of 2, which makes that currently 10. And now we need to look at the recently deceased, which is Junius, and see if his successors and his sons and grandsons will continue to work for the faction. So we don't need to worry about loyalty, so that's a number we don't have to worry about. And we don't need to be worried about the aligned factor. So really it becomes, I guess, quite easy. So what's the base number here? in question. So that's an automatic roll because there's no money on him, right? Now, I'm going to pull up the rule here. There you go. It's on the sheet. I'll just pull it out the way here. So under aging senators, and it's rule, for those that are interested, rule 3.1.02.1, we see upon a natural death, a non-faction leader, in this case Junius is not a faction leader, is never placed in the queue until his card is wiped clean, which we've just done, except money is retained. At this time, his faction can make an immediate one-time persuasion attempt against the senator without subtracting the target's loyalty and assuming the senator is unaligned, but subtracting his money. Okay. And this simulates the elder senator's heir would likely to continue to be, blah, 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 groomed to do so. So really, what you want to do here is you just want to roll any number other than a 10, an 11, or a 12 on a 2d6. Because he has no money, yeah. So
Hey.
right, so
He's back.
that's pretty good to me, yeah. Because he didn't have any money in this case, it's a generally really easy roll. You just don't want to roll a 10 or 11 or a 12. So that's good. So Junius, and this is actually going to be Junius's son now, really. But you now get to keep the card, which is good news. You won't lose an additional senator there. All right, you're done. So perhaps you might be want to update your faction votes and faction influence now with the new details. I'll go across now to the Aphrodite faction. We see Plateus, our shipbuilder. He currently has an age of 7, so I'm now going to request that Plateus and Marcoedia rolls a 1d6 in chat. And we'll see if it survives. Yes! Plateus will continue to live a healthy life. Now we'll go across to the House of Incognita. So I see that Aurelius is our older senator here now, our current field consul. So if Aurelius would like to roll that 1d6 under you, Quintus Octavius. And we will see, and yes, the good field consul will indeed continue to live on a healthy life.
A war's not going to kill him. He'll be fine.
A war's not going to kill him. Neither will the gods of death. That is fantastic news. All right, so we have now completed the mortality phase, and this is a great opportunity to take a break, stretch our legs, and run some commercials. So those in chat right now, please don't go away. We're just going to give our senators a 5-minute break, let them party a little bit and pump their fists in the air in the background and high-five some people near them for the great work that they've done so far. We'll be back in about 5 minutes' time. Don't go away. Please help us watch some ads, help us generate some revenue, and we'll be back very soon. All right, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to everybody in chat. If you've just tuned in, you are on the Roman Twitch channel. We are playing the Republic of Rome board game on the annual Republic of Rome board game broadcast. That's a lot of words said very quickly. We do this event annually every year, and we have 6 players controlling a faction of senators in the ancient Roman Republic. We've had a great time in tonight's session so far, seeing 2 war victories, which is absolutely amazing. And we see that CD on board says hello team in chat, coming in from New Zealand. That's awesome. And thanks for the raid before, raiding with 3 viewers there. That's our highest raid ever on this channel. So we are hitting milestones here. And there we go. And followed that up with a follow. So that's absolutely brilliant. Well done to you. Thanks for supporting the channel. That goes an absolute long way. So yeah, awesome. Hopefully you'll be able to watch some of the later part of this session in the future when it's not too late for you. Excellent. Okay, so I'm very excited to crack on and see what's going to happen. Of course, the forum phase is always a tentative for moods because war cards and stuff. But let's start with the revenue phase first. Now that we've done with the mortality phase, so there's no rebels to worry about. That's always great. Let's do our personal revenues. As you know, this is an honesty system here. So a quick reminder as you guys start to do your updates for your income, +3 talents for any faction leader. Every other senator, of course, normally gets 1 talent. Now, don't forget you get a knight for each of you. Sorry, you get a talent for each of your knights. I knew what I wanted to say before I said it there. Don't forget about your concessions. So noting that excluding the shipbuilding concession that Marakawedia has, everybody else can draw and add talents to that particular senator for the concession. Don't forget to reveal the corrupt portion of your concession card when you do so. In addition to his one talent, the Pontifex Maximus, if we had one, so no point in me continuing that line, but he would normally get a 1d6 extra talents for his role, but he doesn't exist anymore. Condolences. Recreaste et pace. How was my pronunciation there, Agricola, my Italian?
Obviously invoking Jupiter, who was a lot more expensive than he thought.
It took a lot out of him.
We won the war, guys, so...
Yeah, that's right. The Pontifex Maximus served with honour, and
paid with his life.
He paid with his life. He did. He did.
His commanders, they came home from war. They didn't have to pay.
He was elevated to the rest of the gods for his good deeds. And of course, if we had a governor, which will happen in the very near future, but the governor would at that time elect to take provincial spoils. So remember, this is an honesty system. Only take what you're entitled. If you've got questions or if you're confused, please ask them. I can help you out. At this time, you, of course, can move them to and from your faction treasury, although it does sound like you guys had discussions about bolstering the state treasury, which you can do in just a moment. And then you're also thinking about, which senators are going to be making which donations, so you may want to load up one particular senator, for example. Of course, this is where trades of talents also occur. So you may or may not want to consider this time as well, helping to add more popularity to the HRAO for the population phase State of the Republic address. So if that's something you guys wish to decide as well by trading some money to that senator, then you may consider that as well. Okay. All right, so I'll give you a little bit more opportunity to consider where you're putting your money. If somebody's money is accidentally going behind their statesman's card or senator's card, let me know. I'll just fix up the ordering. But yes, take your time. Make sure you're doing your sums right. So let me do some audible counting now. We'll do some checks. So good night to CD on board. Thanks for dropping by there. Let's say, for example, House of Julii is going to get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7.
Don't
you get one for the knights as well?
8, 9. Yep, I didn't see the knights. Good. And I was just testing it. Well done. House of Julii is getting 9. Justia Marita is going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Does that sound right to you?
9. We got the 6 from my 2 concessions.
Yep. Oh, sorry, you got a second concession. Yep, good.
I then get 1 from a senator, 1 from my second senator, 3 because of the knight, and then 3 from the faction leader.
Sounds correct to me. So let me do a recount there. So
I think I came up to 12.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, that's good. So it's good. I've been wrong twice now. I'm glad I'm not playing. I would have undervalued myself twice now. Dear. Okay, let's go check out House of Incognita. So they would have gotten 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that the count that you got, Quintus Octavius? Quintus, hang on. Did Quintus Octavius go? Oh, he's charging his headset. That sound right to you? Give me a thumbs up. Yep, he's nodding his head. I can see that. Good. Well done. Marcawedia would get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that what your count is? Yep, good. Excellent.
Yep.
And let's check on pre-Byzantium. Would have gotten 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that your count, Numerus Aurelius?
Sorry, what was that?
You would have gotten 6. Is that correct?
Talents.
Yes. 6, 7, 8,
plus
9, 10.
Plus 4? Yeah, 10.
10. Yep, there we go. I keep missing people's concessions. So it sounds like everybody is well and truly better at math than I am, which I'm pleased about. You guys are doing all the good counting and getting all the appropriate money that you guys should be. Okay, so like I said, yes, if you wish to redistribute money to or from your faction treasuries at this time, you can, or between your senators, do so. If you want to trade to other players, now is the time you need to do that. I'll let you guys have those discussions should you want to think about bolstering the HRAO again. Somebody's just sent me a message. I wonder if you're yeah, you didn't spend it. I will send me a text message, that person, and I can respond to you there. All right, we're just making sure all our banking is in order. I'll take a sip of tea while we're waiting, and I've got to speak to a few senators off key here. But yeah, I'll just let you guys to talk amongst yourselves as to whether you want to plus up your HRO ready for the population phase.
Yeah, so we currently got an unrest of 5, which will give us a -5 to our roll. The current dictator does have a popularity of 5. Currently, I am 1 talent short from getting the Bloodfest, which would reduce the unrest by 2 and increase the popularity by 2, which would give us a positive roll of 4. This is just to ensure, because I believe we did a roll before, even with no modifiers, where we rolled a 7, and we had a unrest gain of 3 plus the manpower shortage, which was really devastating. Would anyone be interested in handing over a talent, or would anyone be interested in discussing sending more talents to then go forward to have the Gladiator Gala?
How much does the Gladiator Gala cost?
18 talents. So currently I have 12. If I am bolstered by an additional 6 talents, we could hold that, which will give us a positive roll of 6 coming into the State of the Republic address.
I'm happy to give you.
I'm happy to donate. Yeah.
We can split the load if you'd like, or
Yeah, I'd like to donate 2 so that when I donate to the thing, I still have enough to get a point for the state treasury. So I'm offering up 2.
What do you need? What's
How much do
what's
we
the
need in
amount
total?
to?
So I
let me
currently have
in the treasury.
Let me help you out. I'm going to zoom in on the area so you can see the values and you can see the rewards. Let me center my view first. Here we go. So everyone's view is about to change. Sorry for that if you were doing something. But yeah, I'd like you to be able to see the values for the games, their cost, what it gets you. Now that's for games, all right. So that's for popularity. In terms of donating to the state treasury, however, you'll want to look up at the other section here. I think it's over here. Here it is. So it's right next to the sandpit. It is here. I'll change your view again. You can see they're the values there and what influence you can get as a reward for donating to the state treasury. Okay.
So I'm really interested in lowering our unrest as much as we can, particularly going now that we've reduced the number of wars that we currently have. This would lead up to allowing other kind of roam consoles that don't have large popularities to be able to run and be able to kind of balance the leaders out a little bit better. I fear if we do get a poor roll, and worse, even get a roll where we get a manpower shortage, we'll kind of be forced in a loop where we can only elect very popular senators to be able to continue to be the Rome consul, and may not be able to go off to war if that was the case, or we would have to send 2 armies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if everyone was interested in that, we would do a Gladiator Gala. I currently have 12 talents on the dictator, so I would need an additional 6. So if we wanted to spread that load, there'll be 1 from each member and then an additional 1 from 1 member.
I'm happy to put up the 2. I have, 2 above the 10. So, yeah.
I fall below the threshold either way, but I'm happy to donate it. In fact, I'm happy to pick up somebody else's if that would be of value to somebody, all for the good of Rome.
Well, I was thinking if we all trade that to Quintus, the current dictator, that will increase his popularity, which would then give us a better role and hopefully get us into the high modifiers where the speech itself continues to lower the unrest, possibly to 0.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So at this stage, if anyone would like to trade me that 1 talent, I will be placing all of these talents towards the games.
You could seal that with a deal, make that a public agreement, and then you can make that binding, which would probably give people more confidence too.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
what
say
about
that
myself?
openly to the Senate.
I've just dropped my 1 talent above your senator.
Thank you very much.
And so you get popularity from games, right?
Correct.
Correct. Again, if you meet the thresholds.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to meet the thresholds anyway for the games to go ahead at the particular levels anyway.
Well, not being corrupt, I'm pretty poor, so I'll give you my 1 talent.
Thank you.
Yeah. Pure party, the uncorruptibles.
There's my 1 as well.
I do admire your moral upstanding and
Thank you.
nature.
It's very well noted.
Right. Thank you all very much.
All right, you guys are all happy then with your trades? The trade's all done? Sempronius Agricola coming in with another 100 talents, so he's also transferring his bits to you as well there.
Do you want to help grab mine? It's just sitting in the straight under forums and proposals.
Yes, I see
It
too.
hasn't made its way very far.
I've just removed the pro console token off Scipio Africanus as well, considering he's back.
Thank you very much.
It's all right. Just some housekeeping. Good. All right. I think we're pretty happy there. We're not going to see any province development just yet, but next time we will, which is very exciting. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's start doing debts, etc. So perhaps if our Quaestor wants to take notes and run the numbers on a sheet of paper in the background, perhaps as we step through this nice and slow, before we go bothering changing tokens, so we can get all the amounts in one go. So, first of all, good Quaestor, start by adding 100 talents to the pool. And we don't have any provinces to worry about just yet. Okay, let's now talk about contributions. So, let's start with the highest ranking available officer and just do the check formally. Let's go with Justia Marita with the dictator. Will you be making any contributions to the state treasury from any particular senator?
At this stage, no, as I'll be placing my talents towards the games.
Okay, up to Pre-Byzantium. Pre-Byzantium, will you be making any donations to the state treasury?
Yes, of course. I will be donating 8, I believe it is. No,
You're
9.
gonna- All right, just confirm that number and let the Quaestor know.
9, please.
9 talents, all right? If you'd like to go bank those for me on the left-hand side. All right, okay, so that's 9 added to that running total, so we're at 109 so far. Let's go across to the... So there's no influence, unfortunately, gained there for you. That's all right. Marca Wedia, would you like to make any contributions to the state treasury at this time?
Yes, 10 for Alias.
10 for Alias, very good. Now, Numerius Aurelius, if you'd like to get a number 6 for Alias, please. I'm going to increase his influence by 1. And then, of course, for you, Mark Wedia, if you add, of course, that 10 talents to your current running total.
Yep.
Good work, everybody. Okay, now let's go across to the House of Incognita. Will you be making any donations to the state treasury at this time? No, there's a head shake. I can see that. That's good. I know he's charging his headset right now. That's fine. Okay, down to Fortuna's Despair. Will you be making any donations to the state treasury at this time?
Yes, I will donate 3 talents.
3 talents, okay. And that's coming from which senator, was it? I suppose it doesn't matter.
From
From Papyrus. Okay, if you'd like to go bank those 3 talents and the Quaestor, that's another 3 to our running total. And now we'll go across to the House of Julii. Would you be making any donations to the State Treasury at this time?
Yes, I'm donating my 6.
6 from Cato the Elder. Unfortunately, it doesn't hit a threshold, but nonetheless, that's another 6. So Quaestor, that's another 6 to add to the total there. All right, so that's state contributions. All right, now we're going to do the deductions portion.
Did I miss somebody? I think I
No,
must
there
have
was
just
there,
missed-
no, there was somebody who didn't donate anything. So whatever you've got is probably correct so far.
Okay, yep.
Okay, so now we're going to do debts. So let's see who's faster at adding these all together. So the total of legions and fleets, they cost 2 talents each. What is our total? Who's got the number quickest?
How many we got?
I'll have to do some counting. Yeah, checking our AstroTurfed active forces box.
Can I just revise my donation?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I just want to chuck in the other 6.
Yes. Will that allow you to hit a threshold?
No, but it's the
Good.
right
All
thing
right.
to do.
Let the Quaestor know what your revised total is.
It'll be 9.
Okay.
Active forces should be 22.
Can anybody
I
challenge
still
that
think
number?
I might have just missed one for the adding up. I'm so sorry. Because I had 10. You've updated yours to 9. We had nothing because he's doing the games. We had a 6.
Yep.
And I think I've missed somebody.
No, there was 2 people that didn't donate.
Okay, cool. Just
Yep,
checking.
you're good. Yep, no, I'm pleased you did. So we've got currently at 22. Does anybody want to challenge that figure? So I'll do a check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42. I've got a count of 44 talents for debts. Anybody want to challenge that? Nope. All right, so we need to now deduct 44 talents from your current running total. There, please, Quaestor. 44. That will pay for all of our legions and fleets. And while you're in the mood for deducting, can you please deduct 20 talents for the First Punic War out there as well?
I get a total of 61.
Total of 61 in the positive, so we can add that
Yep.
61 to the State Treasury of 66.
Okay, great.
And then if somebody, either perhaps the dictator or Numerius Aurelius, wants to update whatever that final figure is, if the Quaestor lets you know.
127.
There you go. That's pretty healthy. That's pretty healthy. 127 talents in the Temple of Jupiter, up on the Capitoline Hill. I think I've got that right. And that will conclude our revenue phase. So let's move on to the forum phase now. Passage of time, we need to clear off anything that's not relevant, which is nothing right now. We're all good there. Step into the initiatives. We're going to start with the highest ranking available officer, which is the dictator, Justia Marita, and Marcus Decimus. Okay, go ahead, please, and roll your 2d6. Let's see what you get.
7.
You roll a 7, so you're going to be drawing a card today. Now, let me just double check. I'm going to remember some card figures here. Okay, cool. So we're going to be drawing from the deck. So usual rule, I'm going to reveal the Early Republic deck. I just want you to hover over the deck. The little window pops up. Click draw. Put a number 1 in the box. Hit enter, and that'll go in your hand.
Am I
Seven's
mistaken with
event.
a 7 is an event?
Oh, did you roll a 7? Oh,
Yeah.
you did roll a 7. I missed that. So please ignore what I said. I was just testing you, and you're pretty quick. That was that's very good. That's great news for you guys generally. So let's go in and look at the random events table. Now we've had a good run of events. Hopefully we can keep that going. Please go ahead and roll your 3d6, and let's get an event. You rolled an 8. You're going to get an epidemic. How relevant for the times that we live in right now. I'm going to give me a moment to draw that from the deck. Event cards. Actually, let me scroll into the middle. I'll plop this in the sandpit so we can all see it. And we'll see what an epidemic means for everybody. Let's have a look. I think I know what the image looks like. Let them all load for me. I think this is the card here. Let's see if I'm right. Did I get it first go? Yeah. You guys aren't going to like this card. All right, so we got. I'll bring this up for everybody so you can see. So don't bother moving yourselves. Okay, here we go. So this is the epidemic event that we've just drawn. It says 2, draw 6 mortality chits. Only those senators currently in Rome can be killed. So there is a viral infection. I'm going to call it COVID-19. Rolling through. Was there a Black Plague? That didn't happen until the Julian dynasty, is that correct? Rather the emperors of the Byzantine Empire. So think of something that's really dreadful. Typhoid that they didn't know. Consumption. We're going to draw 6 mortality chits. I'm going to have the event drawer draw these 6 mortality chits. We'll go nice and slowly because we do need to check ID numbers of senators, and we'll see if any of these senators will pass away. So you've drawn your first. Senator 15. Who owns Senator 15?
Oh, no. Our former leader.
Sulpicius is the first to succumb to the virus. So he is the faction leader. So there is some benefits there, but what I will need you to do is you can keep your card as is. There's no persuasion attempts that needs to be done. You just need to clear his age, his prior console marker, his influence, and knights. And the faction leader, the token, you can just keep with him, I guess, for the moment. But essentially, we've unfortunately seen the passing of Sulpicius, ID 15, due to an epidemic that's occurring right now. So that's quite sad. So I'll let you to continue to mourn his loss and clear his tokens.
Lower my influences and all that.
Right. All right. Please draw the second of 6, please. This is the 26. We don't have any 26, so that's okay. Please go ahead and roll the third. Who owns Senator 11?
I do.
Oh dear. Oh no, not Paprius. And
Paprius, our friend.
He survived as well. Okay, so if you could kindly. Well, it's never kind, is it? Please clear all his tokens, but we're going to do the usual check from him. So if you can return his death chit token, his priest token, and his influence, and we'll give you the opportunity now to roll the persuasion check, which is pretty basic, and he's got no money on him, so you just want to roll a 2d6 and just make sure that you don't roll a 10 or 11 or a 12. Smallpox, Poach Trout said, and he was on it. He said he knew 7 was an event. So we're going to assume this is smallpox. All right, so he's going to roll a 2d6 in chat, and we'll see if he can maintain the senator. Yeah, he does. So his son is continuing to serve with Fortuna's despair, but we all mourn the loss of another senator. Okay, let's go back to our events roll. Let's roll 4 of 6, please, and let's see what happens. Who owns Senator 17? Is there?
Me.
Let me scroll up
It's
and have a look there.
Plateus.
Oh,
Plateus.
Plateus. Okay. We now see the death of Plateus. Nemurius Aurelius, if you could kindly help remove the tokens from Plateus, bar his faction leader token. There's no roll required here because he is the faction leader, so he'll remain with the Erudite faction, and the concession will actually end up now in the forum for the Senate to consider reassignment in the future. So we've seen a death of another senator there, but at least the Erudite faction gets to keep, I guess, his son or grandson in the faction. But yet another devastating loss there. And don't forget to remove his age 7 token as well. He goes back to being a fresh young lad. All right. So that's 4. Let's do roll number 5, please, event roller. Who owns ID 12? Senator ID 12?
That's me.
Oh,
is that
no, it's me.
Is it?
let's go down back to Fortuna's despair.
Achilles.
Achilles, the priests are copying it. Okay, so I'll take the concession to the forum. That will be there for the Senate to assign. Hey, at least it's not a war card, right, folks? If you could clear all his tokens off, and we'll get you to do your 2d6 roll again to see if Achilles' sons and descendants will stay with your faction. 5, 6, 7. Yep, you're good. So Achilles is going to stay with your faction. Don't forget to clear his number 6 age token as well, but he goes back to 0 on the books. So unfortunately, we've seen yet another death of the senator there. All right, let's events roll. Let's roll the last one. Let's get all this bad luck out of the way. Who owns senator number 1?
I do.
Right.
Scipio Africanus.
Scipio Africanus. Oh dear. Okay, so first of all,
sharpening his sword and he fell on it.
yeah, you can perhaps move his medal and pip up to your top left with the other one. So that is now another medal that just sticks with your faction. If you kindly clear all his tokens away, and that statesman now ends up in the discard pile. I can remove him for you now. So that famous statesman will never be seen again, and then you'll get the opportunity to roll your 2d6 for the family card if you'd like to roll that. See if Cornelius stays with your faction. Yes,
Didn't
yes,
quite
he
write
does.
his name in the history books like the like his the original.
Yeah. All right. Now that concludes the epidemic of smallpox. That was pretty tough.
That's changed the influence table somewhat.
It has. Yes, Unknown Star yells out, "The House of Incognita stays healthy." They bar themselves away. Rather unfortunate. We lost some really good senators there. Perhaps you also need to eventually appoint a new scriber formally, because the one that we just had is now deceased. It's a little bit upsetting. Okay, let's continue with the rest of the initiative for our first faction there. Would you like to make a persuasion attempt at this time, Marcus Decimus?
At this stage, no, thank you.
Okay, would you like to roll for a knight?
Yes, I would.
Okay, who will be rolling for a knight today?
I will have Cornelius roll for a knight.
All right, go ahead and roll a 6 for me on your 1d6, and let's see how you go. You roll a 5, unlucky there. Would you like to change your faction leader at this point in time?
I would not.
All right, and finally, and I think you're going to do this, is you're going to sponsor some games today.
Yes, I would. I am going to sponsor a Gladiators Gala.
Alrighty, a Gladiators Gala. That's the top tier, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So, go ahead and bank that money for me. And perhaps if I could request, say, Lucius Julius, if you could decrease the unrest level of the state by 3, please. Lucius Julius will update the unrest level. So what was it? What's it going to? 5 minus 3. So it's going down to 2. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we get an unrest level for the unprosecuted war?
Yeah, good
Or am I
question.
thinking something else?
No. That does have to occur. Yes, we see an increase of unrest level of, and we forgot this last time too. So there's an increase of 1, but that will occur shortly.
Yeah.
So we'll still go down to 2 for now, but that'll occur at the start of the population phase. But good on you for remembering. And of course, you'll get an additional 3 popularity for Quintus Flaminius.
Yes.
So you'll go to an 8. 8 popularity. A very, very popular, famous senator. All right, you're just finishing your banking there, and I'll let you finish that off. Just don't forget your popularity. Okay, that concludes your initiative. Let's go around the table. Let's go to Pre-Byzantium next, moving clockwise. Go ahead and roll your 2d6, and let's see what you get. You're going to get a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so let me change some decks here. We're going to hide the events deck. Okay, so normal rule with the events, with the Early Republic deck when I bring it out, hover over the deck. Don't click on the deck. Wait for the little box to pop up. Hit draw as you're hovering, and then you'll put the number 1 in the box and hit enter, and that should bring it into your hand. All right, so there's the Early Republic deck. Go ahead and do that. He's gonna good. He's got the card. All right, is that red text or black text?
That is black text.
Wait for him to inspect.
Mm-hmm. Black text.
I'm just going to double check. I may not be able to hear you properly. Okay, sorry. Can you repeat that for my benefit?
Black text.
Black text. All right, please drop it in the sandpit if it is black text.
Uh-huh.
You'll flip that over. Flip that over. Oh, let's have a look. We're going to zoom in, ladies and gents, and have a look. We have drawn out Hannibal, an enemy leader. And we, of course, know where he's going to go and what war he's going to add to. So,
Oh,
of course,
geez.
it increases the strength of all 3 Punic Wars, may combine with Hamilcar. So we're going to... in fact, you could do that if you like there, Numerius Aurelius. If you like to drag him up, go ahead and add him to the existing Punic War up there for a total strength of 20 now on that war.
Jeepers.
Can you send it to back?
Yes, I certainly can at your request. There you go. That should have done it.
Thank you.
All right. Let's finish off your initiative. So, yeah, not the best draw, but at least it's not a walkout, right? Would you like to roll for a knight today?
Yes, please.
Who's going to be taking that privilege?
Fabius Shell.
All right, get Fabius to roll a 6, and let's see how you go.
3.
Gets a 3. Unfortunate there. Would you like to change your faction leader?
No, thank you.
And finally, I don't think you're going to be sponsoring any games. I don't see any more money. Sempronius Agricola goes, where's Scipio when you need him? Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's go across to the Erudite faction with Marca Werdia. Please go ahead and roll your 2d6 and let's see how you go. That's a good solid roll there. It's a 6. No, not an event. So same deal. I'm going to reveal the Early Republic deck for you. Just hover your cursor over the deck. Don't click on the deck. And you'll see the little tiny auto pop-up box come up. Hit draw. Stick a number 1 in the new box that pops up. And then that'll take it into your hand. Okay? All right, so there you go. The Early Republic deck has just been drawn. You can see it pop up down your bottom right. And take a card into your hand. Good. I see you've done that. Excellent. All right, let us know. Is that a red text or a black text card? She's inspecting her hand now. Hey, how you going there, Marco Wedia? Is it red text or black text?
Sorry, it's black text. Sorry,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I'm trying to put it in the middle there. I just put it in
There you
the
go.
middle.
Yep, perfect. Would you like to flip that card? Right click and flip. And we'll see that, and I'll zoom that in for everybody's benefit. We have... looky here. This looks awfully familiar, doesn't it? It's the First Illyrian War, ladies and gentlemen. First Illyrian War. We just defeated the second one of these in the series. Now, the benefit here, I guess, for you guys, it is inactive until it is attacked. Unless, of course, there's an enemy leader that's associated with it. We'll just check our Curia deck. We've got one for Macedonia and one for Syria, so we're okay. So this does not count towards your war tallies, which is really helpful. Now, what you will see, though, is it creates or worsens drought conditions, which is really a modifier on unrest levels. Now, and that even occurs while inactive. Okay, so what we're going to see here is an increase to the state unrest level. And what we're going to action this now. So if we could please have perhaps Lucas Julius again, if you'd like to increase the state unrest level to 3, please. And that will represent the now increase of unrest due to the drought, which is occurring because of this now inactive First Illyrian War. And I'm going to pop that in the inactive wars box over here next to the Curia. Now, it's normally worth 10 talents, but because it's now a revolt, because you've defeated the last war in the series, it's not worth anything to you, but you still need to defeat it in order to create the provinces. So it'll create the province of Illyrium once you defeat it, okay? So there'll be another governorship that you'll have to think about, okay? It's a fairly easy war by the looks of it. It just requires 3 fleet support. And, of course, defeating it will reduce your unrest level again because of the drought. Okay, let's finish off your turn there. So would you like to do a persuasion attempt today?
I just had a question about persuasion attempts.
Sure.
Was basically there really any point in me attempting one, especially if none of my senators had really amazingly good influence?
So, I mean, So it always helps to have a look at the back of the cheat sheet and have a look at that persuasion attempts equation. Really what you want to do is have that number in your head of your oratory plus influence of normally your best senator.
Yeah.
In this case, that's Julius.
Yep.
So you're looking at 12, 13, 14, 15. So you've got a 15 influence, right?
Yeah.
What you now need to do is compare that to, usually if you're looking just to add to your collection of senators, right?
Yeah.
You're looking for a senator that has low loyalty and a senator that has low influence to stand the best chance, okay? But you also need to take into account that they get an alignment bonus of +7. So, for example, if you just look at Plautius of your own faction there for a minute, so his base number that you're going to be detracting is going to be 6 + 2, which is 8. Then you add another 7 to that, which is, 15. What's that? 15. So you've got 15 versus 15, which is currently 0. So you can see even on a really low, basic senator like Plautius at the moment has got low influence and a low loyalty. Yeah. It is quite challenging if you haven't got influence, greater than 12 or 15 at the time. Now, of course, that you can change that by adding bribes, but I don't think a lot of people have money, and you certainly don't have any money on Julius's card yet right now. So.
No point really.
Now, if there was an unaligned senator, that becomes a different question, and absolutely I'd encourage you to try. But it would be difficult for you to persuade another senator at this point in time, I think.
Okay, I will pass. Yep.
Yeah, not a problem.
Is there a downside of trying though? Is there a penalty if you're not successful?
No, only that is you just might lose friends. but certainly it is worth a try if you just want to go through the motions, of course. Yeah, there's no harm in that.
Okay, not this time. Maybe another time.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem.
More of it.
All right. Would you like to change your faction leader?
Where are we? Back to here.
So currently Plautius is your faction leader?
Yes, I was going to keep him as faction leader.
Sure,
yes. If
you'd like to. Yeah, not a problem. All right. Would you like to sponsor any games today? I don't think so. I'm not seeing any cash there on you. So that will conclude your turn. Let's all go to the House of Incognita. Alrighty. So, usual for you. If you would like to go ahead and roll your 2d6 there. It's coming up as a 5. It's funny that the dice didn't generate the graphics on my screen. Okay, so same deal for you. I'm going to reveal the Early Republic deck. Make sure you don't click on the deck, but just hover over it. Wait for the little pop-up to show. Hit draw. Put a number 1 in the new box. And hit enter, and then you're going to let us know whether it's a black text or a red text. And thanks to Sempronius again with the constant stream of bits. There's another 100 added to the kitty. That's fantastic. Okay, there you go. Bottom right for you, Quintus Octavius, Early Republic deck. Go ahead and draw your card.
Come on, Tribune.
All right, he's drawn a card. Is that black text or red text? I know he's hoping for a Tribune. I hear a sigh. I suspect it might be a black text then.
Let's have some fun, guys.
Let's have some fun, guys. All right, please drag and flip that in the sandpit. Let's see what we got. It is the Second Macedonian War. All right, I'll zoom this in on everybody. Let's have a look. Second Macedonian War. Strength 10, requires 5 fleet support, danger numbers 13 and 14. It's worth a bit to you if you win, 45 talents. But more good news is it's inactive until it's attacked or matched. However, what happens, because we've got an acting hero over there in the Curia, so we are actually going to see this become active. Revolt of Macedonia is a province, which it is not. What I do want to confirm right now is... No, I think I was curious as whether it becomes an imminent war, but I think with the enemy leader, I think it becomes an automatic active war straight away, unless somebody wants to correct me on that. Normally it'd be a matching war, which would make it imminent, but there is no other matching war right now. So we're going to take that Macedonian war and Philip V together, and we're going to drag them up to the active forces box for now. So there's a new war set for you guys to consider. And... all right, very good. All right, let's finish off your initiative. Would you like to make a persuasion attempt today, Quintus Octavius?
You know what? We're gonna try.
You are going to try today? All right, let me just do the rainbow puke fix on a few of our viewers here, on our senators.
Now, am I
There we
allowed
go.
to do it against a faction leader, or is it not allowed?
Yes, you can. I don't think it's prohibited, but it's worth a check. Let's go check our rulebooks, everybody. Can you do a persuasion attempt against a faction leader?
And just while everyone's doing that, I'll confirm with you, if a leader resides in the Curia and a war matching the leader is drawn, both the leader and the war is immediately considered active.
Thought that might have been the case. Good. Pleased for checking that. Well done. That's first tick. Now we want to check if you can, make a persuasion attempt against a faction leader.
Doesn't say you can't.
No,
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
you
see
can. Yeah, I thought that you can.
But you shouldn't.
It'd be nice if you, yeah. But just double.
I thought there was something. Wasn't there something though about faction leaders, which was why you sometimes put somebody with the lower loyalty as a faction leader?
Potentially. So I'm going to control a faction
thought
leader
it
inside my
was
rule set. It certainly helps you in the case of a death of that senator, because it keeps them that senator within your faction essentially for free. So I'm going to Google this in my rulebook.
Doesn't say.
Okay, so I think it does. So if we look at Rule 1.07.4, a senator in Rome may attempt to persuade an unaligned senator in the forum or an already aligned non-faction leader senator, also in Rome, to join his own faction. So your faction leaders are protected against enemy persuasion attempts. So you may elect anybody that is not a faction leader. There we go. We're able to verify that. And Poached Trout has indeed confirmed that for us in chat. So, what's your decision there, Quintus Octavius?
Let me now go through all of them again, just to...
Yep, not a problem. Take your time. Taking your time. So there you go. So yet another benefit of faction leaders is they are protected from persuasion attempts.
I think I might go with Junius.
All right, we're going to see an attempted persuasion attempt against Junius. All right, I'm going to pull up my little sheet here. So, who is the senator making the persuasion attempt today?
It would be Flamnus.
Flaminius. All right, tell me about what's his influence there?
24.
Plus his oratory?
2.
Is 2, so we're currently looking at a total of 26 there. All right, who's the target senator again?
Would be Junius.
It was Junius, that's right, the son of the ex-Pontifex Maximus. What is Junius's loyalty rating?
8.
And what is Junius's... he doesn't have any money on him right now?
No.
Good. And he gets a +7 alignment modifier, which makes that 15. So what's 26 minus 15?
11.
11, and that's a really good base figure to begin with there. So first of all, I'll ask, I was going to ask if you'd like to make any bribes, but it appears that you've got no money on the personal treasury of Flaminus there, but we do need to invite people to make counter bribes should they so choose. So let's just quickly whip around in clockwise order here. So Fortuna's Despair, did you want to put any money from your faction treasury to counter bribe this persuasion attempt?
I would, but I failed to see this serpent-like threat to the stability of Rome, and so I generously gave my money to the treasury. But otherwise, I would commit every cent of it.
Sure. Okay, let's go to the House of Julii. Would you like to help try and reduce the base number down from 11?
I would like to, but unfortunately, unable to.
Sure. Okay, go across. Justia Marito and Marcus Decimus, are you going to counter bribe at all?
I am not able to at this stage, no.
All right, Pre-Byzantium, your opportunity.
Don't have any money because I diligently donated to the state. Not expecting to be backstabbed.
And finally, Mark Wedia, is there any counter bribes that you wish to make at this time?
I'm sorry, I have none.
Okie dokie. So
Rank
we have
opportunism.
we have a base number of 11, which in some terms you'd say is automatic. However, he still needs to roll 9 or less on a 2d6. So if you'd like to go ahead and roll that 2d6, and let's see if he can get that. Unlucky.
Oh.
Close.
Unlucky. So even though that's less than the base number, he does in fact need to roll less than 10, which is the other limiting factor there. So he just misses out. Just misses
So you
out.
don't get the prize, but you do get the ever-living rancor from the rest of us. So
By all means, try to kill him.
Oh dear. Okay.
He says that for a good reason.
Now, would you like to change your faction leader today?
Yes, I would.
All right, please go ahead and do that at your leisure. And finally, I don't think you're sponsoring any games. I can't see any more cash hanging around your joint there. Okay, Fortuna's Despair. Go ahead and roll your 2d6 for me. Let's start your initiative.
Should I now roll for a night?
Oh yeah, go ahead and let's do that first, rather. Good pickup. How did we miss that? We got excited with the persuasion attempt. Just one d6. Try again for me.
Probably.
Oh, that was Tiberius Cornelius. We'll come back and do that in a minute. Oh, look, you did. Which senator was doing that, by the way? We should have asked that first. All right, go ahead and throw a knight on for Fleminus. He gets a knight. Now that will conclude your turn.
I
Good
was
pickup.
going to ask if I remembered to roll for a knight, or did I just roll for the event? Because I didn't. I can't remember.
Scroll up. You only rolled once.
No, you only rolled once. So we missed your knight as well. This is terrible.
Yeah.
All right, please go ahead and roll for a knight. I'm glad you're remembering.
Thank you. So
This
it's
is
a
why-
2d6?
Yeah, 1d6. You need to go 6.
Well, it could happen.
There you
Oh,
go.
look at that. Which senator was doing that, by the way? We should have said that first.
It was the one who needed it, Paul Palladius. I thought
Oh,
needed
okay,
it.
certainly. All right. If perhaps Quintius Octavius, if you could please get a number 1 knight token for Platius, please, of the Erudite faction, that would be very helpful.
Thank you.
All right. I can't believe we missed knight rolling for knights twice. There we go. But we've since rectified that. Okay, now we've completed that turn. Let's go back to Fortuna's Despair. Tiberius Cornelius, you could kindly please roll that 2d6 again, and we'll see how we go.
I can just go with the first roll if you want.
What was that, 9? I can see 9 on the list there. Good. All right. Now, this is the point where we see a card that we've already seen before come back out again, so we don't need to be drawing from decks. So I'm going to pull him out. He's going to go straight to the active forces box because we know what it is. It's the Syrian War, and I'm going to pull up the hero. So now we've got 2 active wars on the cards. All right, and now it's finished your turn. Starting with, would you like to make a persuasion attempt today?
No,
Would you like to roll for a knight?
I would.
Which one would you like to do that with?
It's Papyrus, but
Doesn't matter anyway. Would you like to
Doesn't
change your
matter.
faction leader?
no.
Okay, and you won't be sponsoring any games. All right. This should be the last but not least. Is that correct with the House of Julii?
Yes.
All right, please, let's go ahead and roll your 2d6. Let's see how you go.
Now I could do with a red card because I haven't had a card since we started this game.
I'll see what I can do for you.
I've had 2 events and a black one.
Oh, wow. Okay. That sounds like one of my games I've played before. All right, looks like you're going to get to draw a card today. Let's hope it's a good one for you. So again, just another reminder, I'm going to reveal the deck to you. Don't click on the deck, just hover. The little box will pop up. Click draw and then put a number 1 in the new box and hit enter, and that'll take it into your hand and you'll let us know whether it's a red text or a black text. So, Early Republic deck now showing down the bottom right. Please go ahead and do that. Waiting patiently.
Sorry, click. Did you say?
No.
Sorry, I wasn't.
No, don't click on the deck. Don't click, just hover. Hover over the deck. You'll see the draw pop up. Click draw. I think it's draw. And then a new box will pop up. Put a number 1 in the box and hit enter. Yep.
You can tell I haven't done any cards.
Yeah. There you go. You're good. All right. Let us know. Is that red text or black text in your hand?
Okay, hang on. It is.
I see a Richburg Salve to you. Great to see you. That's awesome. He's going to go through the video later. That's our resident rules expert. Great to see him pop in there. Brilliant.
Okay, it's a red text.
Oh, hooray! Everyone give him a clap. Yay, he gets a card. He gets a card. That's fantastic. And it's a red.
Of course, that's unless Tiberius steals it again. But
that well timed by Master Splinter to taking a sip. We'll sip in Lucas Julius's honour for getting a red card. Not like a soccer red card. This is a positive one. So congratulations to him there. Okay, let's finish off your initiative step. Would you like to make a persuasion attempt today?
No, thank you.
Roll for a knight. Which senator would you like to roll for a knight today?
Cato the Elder.
Cato the Elder. Certainly, go ahead.
No, we'll get Skolpicius back in.
Oh, all right, let's get Skolpicius back in. Go ahead and roll a 1d6. You're looking for a 6 with no money contributing. You'll get a 3. Unlucky. Would you like to change your faction leader today?
Yes. Cato is going to become the wise old man that he is.
Alrighty, and I don't think he'll be sponsoring any games today because there's a lack of funds available. So that will conclude all the initiative steps. Let's go ahead and put Rome in order. Okay, for all those senators holding a major office, i.e. you have a purple square on your senator, please go grab yourself a red major marker to show that you are eligible for a major prosecution in the upcoming Senate phase. So if everyone would like to do that. So I'm looking at you, Flaminius. I'm looking at you, Furious. I'm looking at you, Aemilius and Flaminius. I'm looking at you, Julius. Perhaps Quintus Octavius, if you could get a major marker for Julius, please, and help Marcoedia out, that would be most helpful. Pre-Byzantium won't need one. That's good for them. Everyone else, and even the House of Julii will not need one, which is great for them as well. So no major corruption from those two houses. Everybody else's concessions should already be revealed. That shows those eligible for minor prosecution. Of course, those with a major marker are also eligible for a minor prosecution. We shouldn't forget that. Everything else looks to be in order there. Okay. We do not have the Second Punic War currently active, although it feels like it with having 2 generals or enemy leaders associated with the First Punic War there, but, by the by. Now we just need to double check. Is there anything in the Curia that the HRAO could roll for? No, that's all empty right now. So the HRAO's got no activity to do there. All right. At this point, can I ask all the factions to update your faction votes and faction influence tallies, please, if you haven't already? We're going to get ready for the population phase.
And I guess the votes would have changed if you lost your knights, right?
Yes, correct. So if you've had senators pass away in the latest epidemic, yes, there would have been some vote changes for sure. So yes, remember faction votes is all your oratory plus knights. That's a relatively simple one. And faction influence is just adding up all the influences you see it for each of your senators, totaling that together will give you your faction influence. So double check those figures, update your grey tokens in your boxes, and then you'll need to update the vote tracker and your influence trackers as well in the respective areas. So we can show the influence tracker for those at home, and then of course the vote tracker up there as well. Yes, that epidemic was interesting. If you're just joining us on the stream right now and in chat, our senators, as an event they drew, was an epidemic. We saw several senators, I think 3. We saw 3 senators pass away. Was that correct?
I think so.
Out of a total of 4. Might have been 4. There's 2 rolls that didn't end up in one. 6 mortality chits draws. We saw 4 senators pass away from what we're calling smallpox.
Well, they could have been celebrating the wars and all died from alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, an epidemic of alcohol poisoning from celebrating victories in 2 wars. Yes, indeed. All right, give me a thumbs up, senators, when you've updated all your faction votes and tallies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tiberius Cornelius is one I'm looking for there. Waiting for him to finish updating.
Sorry?
Have you finished updating your faction votes and influence?
I think so.
Good. Okay, I'm just going to do a rainbow puke fix on one of our senators. Very good. Fix that up for the stream. All right. Let's move into the... we've now put Rome in order. That's very good. Let's do the unrest level. Okay, we now have... now, it says here to update for every drought and unprosecuted war. We've already taken the drought into account. We did that at the time. Whether that was early or not is perhaps worth to be noted, but we have accounted for the drought on the war. That's despite being inactive, it still counts as drought, which is that First Illyrian War. So it's drought icon. So that's already accounted for in the current unrest vote tally. But we do need to increase it for the unprosecuted war, which is that First Punic War, left unprosecuted from the last, albeit victorious round of combat. So if I could let's have Quintus Octavius. If you could update the state unrest level from 2 to 3, please. All right. Very good. Okay, so at this point, you guys know the deal. I'm going to hand over to the HRAO, which is currently the current dictator. Please go ahead. I'd love to hear a speech and some motivating words, and then we're going to do the usual role of the State of the Republic address, and I'm going to zoom in on for that box ready for the people, and we'll get to have a look at what that result is. So, yes, over to you, HRAO dictator, for your State of the Republic address.
Okay, peoples and citizens of Rome, I come to you when Rome finds itself in peril. As conflict engulfs the world, our enemies were foolish enough to bring aggression to our homeland. Even as the barbarians march towards our fields, your Senate is already in motion to defend her people. And we strike back. We do so as proud Roman citizens, with allies by our side, and together we shall find victory.
Very rousing.
Who's your speechwriter? That was quite good. you have a great personal scriber, whoever that is.
It's Tiberius Cornelius.
Sure. All right.
Okay. All right. So it's a 3d6. Now let's work out our modifier first. So what's your popularity there, good sir?
I believe 8. Yes.
All right. And what's the current unrest level?
3.
All right. So
Yes.
8 minus 3 is going to be 5. All right. So we're going to see a +5 modifier to the 3d6 roll. So please go ahead and roll your 3d6 and let's see how we go. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. No change. No change.
No change.
Yeah, we'll definitely take that. The public is indifferent. They're perhaps still, although they're happy about perhaps the war victories, they are still considering the shame of the losses previous. And there we go. So we're in the Senate session, of course.
Maximus.
And the loss of a Pontifex Maximus. Yes, a good one at that, perhaps. But yes, I'll step back out again. I'll leave it with the HRAO. He knows what he needs to do.
All right. So we are now into the Senate phase. So at the start of the Senate phase, we will now be electing a new set of consuls, and the dictator will be stepping down. At this point, I will open the floor to hear if anyone would like to put forward any of their own senators who would like to be the consuls for the next Senate phase.
Now, while you're all deliberating and running for your consulaships, don't forget there's also a governorship up for grab in this coming Senate phase as well. And then, of course, perhaps you also maybe want to be thinking about the prosecution of wars too, okay?
Do not forget your prior markers as well.
Yes.
I would like to put forward a senator for election to the consul.
Yes.
And I'll do it on the basis of the great leadership that has been demonstrated in this last period. As we turned the corner, we've aroused new enemies, but we turned the corner on our past enemies, and Rome is largely in a stable place, albeit that some senators are seeking to cause discord within the Senate itself. So on that basis, I'd like to put forward Papyrus, number 11,
Yes.
for one of the positions of consul.
I concur with that.
I'm also considering, we do have a Macedonian war, and we also have a war we also have 3 active and or unprosecuted wars. We're very likely that the 2 consuls will be electing a dictator. Of course, we want to try to maintain as much military strength as we can. Would I hear any deliberation if it would be untowards to have the current dictator, Flaminius, take one of the consul positions and allow someone else to handle the dictatorship?
Well, on that matter, he has a very high military, I think higher than anyone. So perhaps it would be wise to keep him as the dictator. So under those conditions, I think I would like to put forward Fabius from the pre-Byzantium faction with 4 military, as a potential field consul, so that we could save Quintus Frontius for dictator if needed.
And then perhaps keep Julius as master of horse.
Yes.
Yes. Would there be any dissenting opinions?
What if Julius was to go for censor? Then would
True.
then be able to hold both positions?
I don't believe so, if I understand.
Can I just throw in a point of interest there just from before? I just want to make sure that it's clear so that the current consuls and the current dictator are not eligible for the current nominations of consular candidates. Because they are.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Now, having said that, though, there are laws that can be implemented in the future that can change that. But right now, if you read Rule 1.09.2, current consuls and current dictators may not be put up for election as consuls.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think anyone is at the moment, correct?
So I think the last proposition on the floor was consistent with that rule.
Yeah,
Somebody did mention before about having the current dictator appointed a consul, that's all.
Right, okay,
sorry,
sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
So the master of horse can still be appointed the consul.
the cancel.
I
yes,
don't
I believe
believe so.
I'm going to double check here now. So candidates, blah, blah, blah. The current consuls and dictator, if any, may not be elected consul this turn unless it's called the traditional erodes law. A senator may not hold 2 offices simultaneously, but the current censor or master of horse may be elected consul with the understanding that he will not continue to serve his existing office. So the censor and master of horse may be appointed or put up in a proposal for consul.
No, can the master of the horse and the censor be the same person?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
But in some ways, it doesn't matter who the master of horse might be, as long as there's a number of candidates with a military rating of 4.
Correct.
So we don't need to solve for that right now.
So just to throw another hat in the ring, Sulpicius the Younger, after seeing his father die from consumption of alcohol, has a military rating of 3. So he will put his hand up with learning from his father. There's also Cato the Elder, who has high oratory, but military-wise, he wouldn't know which end of the spear to pick up.
Which is
But
funny.
he could rally the troops.
Which is funny considering that Cato the Elder was a renowned warrior.
I think they dropped the other one. I think he was supposed to be an 11.
In that case, can I confirm what was the proposal for the consul from Fortune's Despair again? Sorry.
That would be Papyrus.
All right, then I'll put forward a proposal for the consuls.
Hang on, there's no scribe at the moment because the scribe died and got too drunk.
In that case, I'll continue. I will act as the scriber in that stead, and I'll allow the new consuls.
I was going to say that I'm happy to continue acting though. Achilles stood at his father's knee, studying closely his techniques. If you would like, dictator, then he would step in. if you so deem it.
Very well, make it so. In that case, I'll put forward a proposal that Papyrus and Sulpicius the Younger will as the consuls. I'll go for votes now. The House of Julii
Is 15 votes for.
Fortune's Despair.
7 votes for.
House of Incognita.
Muted.
10
Tribute
against.
10
10 against.
Oof. Jeez.
The Erudite faction.
10 votes for.
The Pre-Byzantine.
7 votes for.
And I shall place my 9 votes for.
How many, sorry, was that?
9 votes for.
So that's 48 in favour and 10 against. Motion is carried.
Motion carries. There we go. And the curtains close for another session. So we will leave a week for our new consular elects to discuss amongst themselves about who will be who. And we'll resume like we did in tonight's session in a week's time, as we did with the introduction of the Rome Consul and then moving on from there. So that's very exciting. And that draws episode 4 to a close. Well done to all of you today, our senators. A round of applause, and if you're in chat right now, show some emotes in chat and congratulate our senators for turning it around. It's amazing how quickly it turned around for the better, and I think it's in relative control now. There are 3 wars out there, and that's still of concern, and it still allows for a dictator appointment, but it just doesn't seem as harsh, does it? Wow. I'm feeling much better than certainly what I was perhaps at the start of the session. So good on you for rolling well. You rolled really
who were
well.
the 2 consuls? Sorry, I missed the other name.
It was Sulpicius and Papirius.
Papirius of Fortuna's Despair and Sulpicius from the House of Julii.
Sulpicius the Younger.
The younger,
Poach
As
Trout
the
wants to
writing.
point out that the loss of Scipio is indeed significant, yes, his loss will be felt for sure. But I'm looking forward to the election of our first governor next week as well. So if for those watching right now or in the future, please join us again Monday next week. You'll see all these awesome senators again at the same time at 11:30 a.m. Rome time next Monday. It'll be really good. All right, so from here, we're going to transition. I'm going to dismiss our senators in the background. If you're in chat, don't go away. I'm going to come back and do my usual end of session summary, and we'll go from there. But yeah, please don't go away. Okay, and we are back live for our recap of the session that was. Yay. Yeah, let's woo. I feel so much better for them all, having now seen that session. They finally, not only did they get 1 victory in a war, they got 2, which is really good. And none of them opted for the manual dice roll that I offered them as well. We had started to lose faith in the Roll20 roll system, but they both the commanders of those wars elected to roll with the Roll20, and they got numbers which were just essentially not disasters or standoff numbers. I think it helped that they were fighting wars too that didn't have enemy leaders, which can certainly complicate matters. But well done. So they not only helped to bolster their treasury with those victories, they also created a province, which was Gallia Cisalpina. Yes, that's not a bad province. It certainly won't cause them any debts based on the provincial spoils of state income, and a couple of extra talents here and there can certainly help. But that will create a whole bunch of other rules that both the senators and myself will need to consider going forwards, particularly concerning conflicts and wars that arise that may impact that province. But look, provided the Senate are fighting the wars that may impinge on that province, then the amount of complication will perhaps be kept to a minimum. So that's really well done. We saw some great victories there. We saw some senators really benefit from that session. For example, we saw Quintus Flaminius, current dictator, now stepping down with the latest consular elections. Now a very popular senator, 8 popularity, 17 influence. He's currently age 6, so he's getting on in years. Certainly from Marcus Decimus's point of view and that of the Justia Marita faction, he'll really perhaps want to bolster that senator to at least get above 20 and then consider retirement. So he'll become an elder statesman in the next mortality phase. And in order to make use of his outstanding career so far, he'll want to seek to retire him, but he needs that 20 influence threshold to get across the line. Let's see. Poach Trout says Consul cannot be master of horse. Consul cannot be master of horse. I read differently just then. A senator may not hold 2 offices simultaneously, but the current censor or master of horse may be elected consul with the understanding that he will continue to serve in his current office, unless you're talking about generally. So, for example, once they are consul, they can't be appointed a Master of Horse. That certainly makes sense. But in terms of the elections here, the current Master of Horse appears, according to Rule 1.09.2, the current Master of Horse can be appointed consul, and then they subsequently lose the Master of Horse office, noting that they would be giving that up to take on the consularship. But certainly, if they are a consul, right, they can't be then appointed a Master of Horse. That would be against the rules for sure. Who else has done really well in that session? The field consul coming out with a victory there. I mean, any victory is always helpful. So Aurelius of the House of Incognita did excellent as field consul in that last conflict, gained now 2 popularity, 8 influence there, so growing, but that's now an elder senator, age 7. So I don't know how much more use that senator is going to be at the moment. Now he has the veteran allegiance as well. What does that mean? Not a great deal, but Aurelius may not be the threat. Perhaps peaked too late in his career for the House of Incognita. Then, of course, there's Flaminius, we definitely have to talk about. Now age 6, so definitely getting on in years. The repeat censor. In fact, I think he's been the only censor in the game. And we saw Quintus Octavius throw down not 1, but 3 vetoes to secure that censorship election. But he didn't use it at all. There was no prosecutions that occurred. No prosecutions. Yes, you did read, Poach Trout, that there is a senator with 24 influence. Yes. Flaminius, 0 popularity, but 24 influence. 1 night. Gained all that influence, I think, from being re-elected censor each time. Also the current faction leader. So now that senator's getting on in years, of course he'll be no doubt looking at the potential to try and elect, hold a consul for life election, but I don't think he can pull the votes, maybe not. With 24 influence, it'd be pretty close. If he hasn't already considered it, he certainly will be. So depending on whether he has any Tribune cards left, which I don't think he does, he may have expired them all. If he's run the numbers, he could potentially throw a veto down for a proposal, maybe see a consul for life election for sure, if he's got the numbers, and because I don't think it can be vetoed. A consul for life election, I don't think can be vetoed, which is a limiting factor there once the vote is occurring. But right, his senator is getting on in years. Now I thought Flaminius was actually supposed to age 7 this year. I might have misread, but I thought Flaminius was already 6, and in the last mortality phase just gone, he should have been a 7. So I'll have our auditors check the aging of the senators from House of Incognita and make sure that's correct. But he survived the epidemic, which we saw, an event drawn in the forum phase, which killed off 4 senators. So that epidemic required 6 death chits to be drawn, and 4 senators died as a result, 2 coming from Fortuna's despair under Tiberius Cornelius. Saw 2 senators pass away. Thankfully, though, all patrons of their factions got to keep their senators. The free persuasion check that they were able to hang on to their senators, so nobody lost any senators, but there was a lot of cards wiped with the deaths of those senators, which is unfortunate. Yes, but yeah, what a turnaround. These guys were almost on a knife's edge. Lots of war cards on the books. It was looking dire, but then they get those 2 victories, which really puts them back into a more stable position. Still quite precarious. There's still 3 wars on the books right now after that latest forum. And again, you'll only continue to see wars being drawn in each step. What they really want to do is back up their good work and perhaps achieve another 2 victories in the coming Senate and combat phase that occurs. What they do will be interesting. So they've got the Second Macedonian War, strength 10, plus the enemy leader is plus 6. So they're looking at a strength 16 Macedonian War. They've got a strength 11 war with the Syrian War, I believe there, yes. And then they've got the First Punic War, which is off the charts. So that's a strength 20 war. Now, that will get even worse if another Punic War is drawn. If I was them, I'd be trying to get rid of that Punic War and putting everything into that, because if they draw a matching war there, that becomes really difficult then. The strength will go from 20, and if it's another 10 Second Punic War, I think it's a strength 10, and that'll become a strength that'll double that, increase the strength of that war. So that'll go from a 20 to a 30 if I'm not mistaken. And that will make that war really hard to prosecute then with those 2 enemy leaders. And they can't leave that Punic War hanging around forever because it's already age 3. And we've got the aging war rule in, which means if they get to the end of the combat phase and they have an age 6 war, then they will lose. They can't afford to keep wars hanging around for long periods of time. So they will need to think about getting rid of that Punic War. In fact, I would do that. I'd focus all my efforts. Dictator and Master of Horse with the maximum army they can bear. But the thing is, they've got all those disaster and standoff numbers. 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 16. That's nuts. So what they probably want to do is send 2 forces. They really need to send 2 forces. They need to send a field consul with a force and the dictator and master of horse with a force to give them the maximum opportunity of defeating that war. But then you run the risk, if they get defeated or standoff in both of those forces, they're going to have a whole bunch of wars still on the books. It's going to be costly. They're going to get more wars added, potentially more enemy leaders, and then they might be stuck in a position where they'll end up with more wars they can handle and they get defeated. That's going to be a tough choice for our team to consider. What do you do? If you're in chat right now, and I guess for you, Poached Trout, who's watching on, what would you do? Would you say defeat the Syrian and Macedonian wars if they've got the numbers, or would you just put everything into sending 2 armies into the first Punic War and get rid of that? Having Fabius Maximus still in play would be nice to half losses. Now, in terms of statesmen, so the dictator right now, and likely to be reappointed dictator, he's good against the Macedonian wars. He nullifies standoff and disaster numbers. So that will probably tempt them towards fighting the other wars and continuing to leave the Punic War. So they could send the dictator and master of horse off against the strength 16 Second Macedonian War and get that off the books, get a victory there, and then they could send another force under a field consul against the Syrian war effort and get another war off the books if they can, provided they don't get any disaster or standoffs. And if they are successful there, then they continue to be on good books and they can work out the problem with the Punic War later, and they can just plus up on their strength and fight that as it comes. Poached Trout said he agrees with fighting the Punic War, but not sure about sending 2 forces against it. Would want to run the numbers. Yeah, you would. With all those disaster and standoff numbers with 2 enemy leaders, and of course the number, the 3 on the first Punic War as well, that's a challenge. Certainly not envious of their positions there, but we'll leave that for them to decide. So that concludes my recap there. We will come back again in a week's time. Poached Trout, thanks very much for dropping by. Wale to you, and walete to everybody else. Come again, 11:30 a.m. Rome time next Monday, or 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We'll be back here again to play episode 5 with all 6 of our senators. It's going to be great. It's going to be action-packed. Hopefully they keep the momentum going with some more war victories. Looking forward to that very much. Thanks to all those that made donations and contributions again this evening. Sempronius Agricola with the bits and the several gifted subs. Jortanos with the gifted sub as well. The raid that we got, also fantastic. All wonderful, all fantastic, all helps Nova Roma a significant amount. Thank you. Gratis Tibiago for all the continuing support. Thank you for the follows as well. If you haven't already, please hit that follow button. That also helps us. And that'll remind you when we come on live next time, and perhaps prompt you for all of our other episodes that we're bringing you here on the Roman Twitch channel, live on Twitch, brought to you by Nova Roma. I am Decimus Aurelius Ingeniarius of Nova Roma and Provincia Australia. Until next time, walete.